Shmoe Radio, baby. Wait, get what you got.
Yeah.
Ficky.
I'm starting right now. Alex is taking a shit. We have Taylor Cooper here. No, see, I'm fucking loud, dude.
Doesn't sound loud in the headphones.
Oh, there we go. Nope, never mind. We're fine. Shut up. Tell us what you do, man. I know you're Might Be News. You have a podcast out. Might Be News. I listened to you twice. And what are you about, man?
I just started a podcast network called the Might Be News Network. You can go on mbnnetwork.com, stream everything there. But I got Might Be News, Relatable Radio, Might Be Sports, and the Novak and Franz Show, Monday through Thursday.
They're all on your channel,
Yep.
correct?
Yep.
But your own podcast is
Might Be News. Yep. And I guess I produce all those shows and record them all, but Might Be News is like my main one that I started with. And we just kind of try and find interesting things to talk about that the news isn't really talking about, you know, like whether it's science, SpaceX type stuff. I love talking about Elon Musk and all the crazy shit he's doing.
All right.
And just stuff like that. I mean,
Have you seen him on Joe Rogan?
Yes.
What'd you think about it?
It was awesome.
I love. He's eccentric, dude. He's weird.
He's really weird, but
Definitely
like
real weird.
super cool to listen to because, like, first of all, he's a genius.
He's one of those people that's so smart. He's like almost socially awkward a little bit.
Yeah.
You can tell on Joe Rogan.
He's the craziest takeaway from that.
Alex, talking to the mic again.
What's up, motherfuckers?
How does
We're
this
good.
make sense?
We're good, man.
That
Don't
shit's not
worry
going
about it.
anywhere.
It's nothing to worry about, brother. We can fix all this shit afterwards.
I understand that, but he's moving here, but he's not up here.
That's because it's so small up there that you can't fucking see it.
Okay.
That
so
could be.
Why am I jumping?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think we should worry about it.
All right.
As long
Fuck
as,
it.
as long
Technical
as
difficulties.
nobody's speaking, so we can adjust all that afterwards.
Now you're working. Okay.
Like all that can be adjusted afterwards, man.
Okay.
That's no big deal.
All right. So
I think a really crazy takeaway from that Elon Musk Joe Rogan interview was that people are legit mad that he smoked weed on that
is it
fucking
true
show.
that two of his VPs somebody stepped down? in
Yeah,
his company?
somebody did. I don't know about two of them, but yeah.
Is that a rumor or is that for real?
I believe that actually happened.
Somebody did. Did you listen to the episode? Somebody fucking texted him while he was recording the episode.
Like, what
why
are you
the fuck-
doing?
Yeah.
Dude, didn't he take one hit
I
but
almost
didn't even
feel-
inhale?
He didn't even inhale.
I feel
Yeah.
fucking kind of bad for him. I was saying this to my girlfriend last night. She's like, "How do you feel bad for a billionaire?" Like, I was like, "Cause he fucking took a hit of weed and like fucking people were like, people had to tell him how to live his life and shit." And
It's crazy, and it was totally legal where he was at too. So it's not even like he's breaking a law or anything
but
like
morally,
that. Right.
they're not happy about it.
Which morally,
can
fuck
suck
him.
my
I was just gonna say morally, suck a dick.
That's fucking
suck
crazy.
my dick morally, bitch.
He's not on there fucking shooting heroin on the Joe Rogan podcast or anything like that.
Which should be legal
hard,
also.
dude.
I don't want to get into it.
That'd be fucking crazy if Elon Musk was just sitting there like, "Yep."
But Might Be News is just like this thing that I came up with because
What do you do for a living? Did your hobby come into play? This is just some ambition that you had?
this is just I started off as a musician and music producer, and I kind
Perfectionist.
always a perfectionist. But I tried to do something. Everything I've been doing is audio based. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm married now, I don't have anything cool to rap about anymore. So I
Did
might
you
as
rap?
well. Yeah, I used to rap and make beats and all that shit. Look up Organic Theory with a K. Shout
Wait,
out,
you were on again?
yeah, Organic Theory. Yeah, that's me. I'm just green from
They did a
Organic
fucking
Theory.
double disc album. That was the last one you guys did. Wasn't
That
it?
was, yeah.
Dude,
Back
it
to
was
square
fucking
one.
Hard. I think I still have one of the discs sitting around.
Shout out Dan Harmon, Unique Skills.
Dan Harmon, baby.
But
That's
yeah.
a motherfucker we should bring on here sometime.
Oh
too,
my God,
man.
he's a trip.
Yeah, he's great.
But,
Is he on your podcast?
No, he has been on. He's a guest. We used to do a podcast together, the Grammy Green Show.
He was part of Organic Theory. It was
Yeah. And by the
yeah,
end of it,
yeah.
it was just the two of us, and I was the producer for all of that, and recorded
Show
all the
all
songs
that.
and shit. And then so like everything that I learned to do podcasting, I learned from making music. And when we started doing a podcast, it was just a way to just sit there and get drunk and stoned while just recording ourselves and making fun of each other.
That's what we do every time we do the podcast.
You know what I mean? So it's just fun to do that shit. Like I'm gonna listen to this like later and just crack up. So and then eventually it turned into Might Be News, which is a little bit more serious, but not really. Like we still fuck around and have fun. But I just think that there's a lot of shit out there that they don't talk about on fucking TV.
Somebody needs to talk about it.
Somebody needs to talk about.
Give us a for instance for people so people know right here and now
For
exactly what
instance,
your show.
we were just talking about
Some
last,
good topic.
coming out. We were just talking about that shooting out in Dallas. I
That's
feel like
fucking
it's nowhere
wild,
on
dude.
TV. I feel like it's nowhere. I don't see anything
Wait, is
about
that the
it.
wrong apartment lady?
Yeah. And also this thing with the Catholic Church that's getting ready to blow wide open. Like they're getting ready to do state investigations and
Wait, they're not touching kids, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh shit! Again.
What else does the Catholic Church do? I
300.
swear that's the religion.
They found
It's touching
300
kids.
priests over over the course of the years over 1940s that have touched over 1,000 kids just in Pennsylvania.
Right.
Shit.
And that just came out recently. And since that report came out, Missouri, New Jersey, Colorado, I believe, and New York are starting their own state level investigations. Once it's believed right now that Pennsylvania is just a drop, like it's nothing compared to what Jersey and New York they're going to find there. So once they conclude those investigations, it's believed that they're going to have a federal investigation on the Catholic Church, which is going to be a crazy fucking thing, because essentially, with the Catholic Church and like the private school system and stuff,
Oh, yeah.
Catholic Church owns more private property in America than any other private institution in America.
Really?
And yeah, and realistically, because it's governed by the Vatican, this is a foreign enterprise that is in America that's literally preying on children. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy.
Fucking wild, dude.
Like, aside from like whatever religious beliefs you have, that shit's fucking crazy,
Well,
right?
If you're a Catholic, you should be pissed off.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You should be
very
pissed off. Yeah. Yeah.
But people are going to turn a blind eye, man.
Well, some people are like that. You know, it's kind of like
I think most. I'll even say
You
most.
see that a lot with like politics. You know,
Absolutely.
Republicans and Democrats, like they're fine.
I was talking to somebody yesterday. Oh yeah, my candidate killed somebody back so and so. They might have dropped bombs and killed children, but he wants to put a lot of people to work,
Yeah.
and they just overlook that shit.
Yeah,
So
it's
let me ask you,
overlooked
what's your prediction as to what's going to happen?
With the Catholic Church, I believe that eventually it will reach a federal level, and that they will do a mass investigation, and you're gonna probably see that this is a fucking epidemic, national epidemic of pedophile shit. Like, just what I was reading this past week about what they're expecting to find in Jersey, and what they've already found in places like Boston and shit. It's nuts, man, because this is generational, shit. Like this has been going on. Like I said, in PA, the investigation uncovered shit all the way back from the 1940s. So this is like multi-generation, cross-generation shit that's going on, and I think it's going to be bigger than any of us can even predict at this point.
But what's the outcome?
I
Because
think
I understand how critical some of these situations are, but it bothers me that I feel like after, even when things blow up, as big as they do sometimes, there's no real outcome.
It depends on how. I don't know. I think a lot of people are fucking pissed off about this. I mean,
To me, it falls in the same
it's been
category.
a joke since I was a kid about like Catholic priests. Like it's like a joke. Like my whole life, I feel like.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But
there's
what I'm
always been
saying is, to
jokes
me,
about, like,
to me, it
Catholic
comes down to the
priests
same thing as
touching
government.
kids.
Government over time and time again can get away with these murderous acts, and the outcome is never.
I think what you're seeing now, though, like we're talking about cross-generational shit, I think what you're seeing now is definitely a decline in the relationship between citizens and the church, right? Because that's the only reason that any of these investigations are even taking place. Like, when, like, you think about it, like your grandparents probably went to church every fucking Sunday, most likely. Like, that's generally you think that way, and that's what happened. Now, who's doing that? I mean, people, but not everybody like it used to be. So generationally, the crimes are going up, but the attention, like the tolerance for it is going down because they it's not like it's a huge part of their life like it used to be.
Right.
Before they would just turn a blind eye to it because it's like, that's my church. I can't accept that as truth. Now it's just like, I don't go to church, and that's fucking wrong. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I think that the repercussions now are going to be even crazier. And I think, like you mentioned it in politics, I think that that's on the way to happening too. I think that people care a lot about politics right now because it's so extreme. And like you can look at it like Obama versus Trump or Trump versus everyone.
Well, I think the fact that Bernie Sanders was so popular with the left and Trump was so popular with the right, that right there, because they were both kind of anti-establishment
Yeah.
candidates.
Just on record, Bernie Sanders is going to win this next election.
You think so?
Just so you know.
You think so?
He is. He absolutely
I
is.
have to see who's gonna run. I don't know. The Democrats, they gotta get their shit together, man.
It might be
kinda fall
Biden.
apart there.
Might be Biden that
I
runs.
think,
You know what?
Biden could win.
I'm glad you said that. It'll be Biden or
I think Biden
because
could
everyone's
win.
still riding the back of Obama, man. I mean, they're on their knees for him.
It's so crazy right now because it's just.
What are
like-
your political views? He gave me a brief background. I know he said in some aspects you lean left a bit.
Yeah, definitely. I lean left, I suppose.
In what respect?
I feel like
As in, like his left leg's a little short.
yeah. I limp left. I limp left. Well, I mean, I'm certainly for ending the prohibition of fucking drugs. That's a lefty thing, I think.
All drugs.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would say so. I mean, why not? Like, it's freedom. We're freedom.
Yeah, well,
freedom.
the war on
Do the
drugs
shit.
have obviously
Well,
won
they're
the war
already
on
like
drugs.
they're already coming up with like safe injection sites. Like, just fucking let me smoke weed in my house then. Like, fuck off. You know what I mean? Or let me do ecstasy in my house and just dance all night. I don't give a fuck. Like, why can't I
What's
do
the
that? But like also, I think that political. I'm like right there in the middle. I don't give a shit. I just believe in myself that I have a good idea of what's right and wrong. You know, I try not to look at it as like, all right, the left does this and the right does that, because realistically, if you think about it like that, the right wants everybody, teachers, kids, everybody to have guns. The left doesn't want anybody to have any guns. Fuck that. And I'm like in the middle where it's just like, well, I mean, you should have a gun if you need to protect yourself, like point blank fucking
I don't
period.
think everybody should have a gun. I think people that know what they're doing with a gun should have a gun.
So really to answer your question,
And I don't think everybody would have guns. Like if you just let people have guns, so many people that don't have guns are usually kind of scared of guns. So
Yeah.
I don't want somebody to have a gun that's fucking scared of a gun. Like that person shouldn't have a gun, and nor would that person want to have a gun.
So I guess like politically, I'm just somebody who recognizes the fact that right versus left is simple divide and conquer shit.
Wow, man.
If
You
you-
know what? Congratulations, you're a libertarian.
No, I mean, think about it.
Fucking
Like,
right, dude.
think
That's-
about it. Like, it's just like you can look at it as something as crazy / silly as the NFL right now, right? It's this crazy situation where like the left is just like Colin Kaepernick is basically the new Jesus, and the right is just like this fucking guy should just be shot and killed. Like it's
Our
fucked up.
troops!
Yeah. What about our troops and all this
The
stuff?
flag!
And it's just like, dude, like it's really not. It's really not that. Like,
Yeah, hey,
obviously,
bro, Rosa Parks was not
protesting
protesting
the bus. Right.
SEPTA. You know?
It's true, man. And like, I feel like he's got
That was pretty good.
he's got a legit point. It's 2018, and there's legit systematic racism in America. You look at the 13th Amendment. You look at what's happening in prison. How the majority of it is minorities for low-level drug offenses and things of that nature. Guess what? Those people can't fucking vote anymore when they get out.
Well, we talked about this.
It's done for
There's,
them.
let me first say, like, you know, I can appreciate what you're saying, but I think what a lot of people don't do, they don't understand that this discussion is a spider web of issues.
Oh, big time.
It's not. Yeah, there's racism. Yeah, there's this. Yeah, it's lopsided. Like, why? Why? Ask it for the rest of the day because there's that many questions to ask.
Right.
So,
Have you seen? Do you guys go on Netflix and watch the 13th if you
I've
haven't?
seen it.
It's fucking crazy,
it's
right?
really good.
It's fucking
Really good.
crazy. Like it opened my mind to some things, like all these corporations and stuff that fund and participate in the private prison system,
Yeah.
and like how they just make money off of it, and
Did you ever see the Kids for Cash?
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, shit like that. Like, dude, that's
I think the
wild.
privatization of prisons is one of. It's so downright outrageous. But nothing. I mean, people
Well,
won't protest
it's not
about it.
technically even private. It's almost.
You know who
it's
I don't
almost
support
like,
anymore? You know who I don't support anymore because he has money in Chicago's prisons? Michael Jordan.
That's not true.
I think it is true.
No, it's not-
I
it's not
think it is true.
It's not true. There's another guy named Michael Jordan. That's why the people said that. It's a white dude named Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan doesn't have money in Chicago prisons.
You're positive. I'm gonna have to research that again because I actually I didn't take it for face value. I clicked a couple.
I believe that too for a long time, and then somebody told me that, and I looked it up. And yeah,
Well, then I appreciate that because I was
Eh.
I was saying LeBron's better just because of that.
But saying that private prisons are private is almost like saying the Federal Reserve's private. Like it's technically private, but it's not really.
Well, the way, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the way it works is, I want to look after a prison. The government gives me an allotted amount of cash to run the prison. I cut corners in a way. I might, either whether that be food, housing, whatever it may be, and basically keep the profits. And you get maybe the maximum amount of money as long as your prison is full. I know keeping the prisons full is their main objective.
I know that is the main objective, and I don't know enough about it to sit here.
Well, again, that's a surface level understanding.
Everything you said is accurate, but I think in a roundabout way, what you said is
correct.
Right. Yeah.
So
I mean, they want to keep people in prison. They want to do what's necessary to get people there, and it's deeper than that too. Because, like I said, afterwards, a lot of them can't vote anymore, and that's. I mean, is that right or wrong? I feel like that's kind of fucked up.
I mean, I talked about this.
Depending on what you did.
Here's my thing. This might be sort of a bold statement, but I mean, clear across the board, any violation, criminal act that you had, I don't think should hinder you from voting.
I mean,
whatever it'll be, because
especially like a lot of times people are getting felonies when they're.
Or let me ask you. Let me ask you this. Let me start asking why. Why should they not be able to vote?
Yeah, exactly. Like it's stupid.
There's no reason why.
Well, like I said, like people get felonies when they're young. Like to hold something that somebody did over like when they're 50 years old, something they did when they were fucking 20. Like I can't vote. I can't buy a fucking gun.
Well, I don't
because I did something when I was 20. Like that's fucking crazy.
I don't know all the in-depth statistics, but like we were saying, a lot of these the people that are in prison for these low-level offenses and they can't vote, and the people that are affected by this are minorities. So the minorities in this country typically vote one way or the other, right? But it's like typically one party. So like that's just eliminating.
Typically left,
right?
Yeah,
right.
Welfare state, and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're limiting those votes. And one way or the other, that's what's happening, whether they mean for it to happen or not. Because I don't know the year, but at one point, the Republican and Democrat, they switched. They totally switched, like,
It was a long
what
time.
they
It
were
was in the
about.
60s.
Yeah.
A lot of Republicans use that as ammunition.
Well, Democrats did slavery and shit. Like,
I wouldn't really
I
say
get
they
that.
switched, but Democrats used to be like a party of racism.
It was like a
And
platform
they
change.
they changed their platform.
Yeah.
Yeah, guess what? They all switch. So it's
Yeah, they do eventually. And see, and that's the problem with where we are now, because it's so extreme. You see it on social media.
Yeah.
Everybody's just yelling at each other nonstop because it's just like, my team is winning. My team is winning, or my team is losing. It's become like a
that's all that
fucking
matters.
sport, and that's crazy because it's not that.
Well,
It's-
then, if you sit here and go like, Trump doing this is wrong. Like, oh yeah, watch that swivel there.
no, you're good. I'm good. I'm watching.
dude, he's so good at staying close. Like he's
he's-
glued to it, man. He knows the distance.
He's done this for a while.
I've been doing this forever.
Yeah, but like someone you'll be like, this is fucked up that Trump did, this here, and people will be like, well, Obama did it. Okay, does that make it okay? Cool.
Right.
It was fucked up. Obama did it too.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make it cool. That's like you stabbing somebody, and me being like, Ian, what the fuck are you doing? You're like, well, Taylor just stabbed somebody. Okay, cool. You're both fucking assholes then. Like that doesn't make you not an asshole.
If your friend jumped off a bridge, would you jump off a bridge?
This past election had to be the worst election in the history of our country as far as choices go. Like, they were just both
like Bill,
fucking
I think
horrible.
Bill Burr, what did he say? He said something. I'm gonna butcher this, but he said something like, "On this side you have a retard, and on this side you have the fucking devil."
Yeah. And it doesn't matter which one is which, because they're both the fucking same. They're both the same.
People think, oh, we have to choose. Going back to your the team mentality, there's science behind that. There's books written on that.
Oh,
You
big
gotta
yeah,
look that
yeah.
up, man. People are like, my fucking team. Huh.
Democrats.
Yeah,
Republicans.
it really is.
Well, I mean, you've heard about like what was that?
Am I loud enough?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
you're good. You were peaking a little bit, so I did change your
Shut up.
mic level a little bit, but
Shut
you're
up.
coming through. So I mean, we can always turn you up at the end if it's too low. What was that fucking experiment called, man? It's
Stanford experiment?
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That right there. It shows like fucking
Team-based. It's all...
team based and like kind of like a authority like figure.
Mm-hmm.
You almost look like I was listening. I forget what podcast, but I was listening to a podcast.
You're saying that the group looks for authority?
Well, no, like you tend to like when you put somebody into authority, like they tend to
overdo it.
overdo it. They
Abuse
use
that
authority.
power. Yeah, they abuse that power. Basically, no matter who it is,
Well, and then
it
the
happens.
person who's under that authority tends to kneel down to that authority.
It's like
And
personally,
they were talking about on this podcast I was listening to. They were talking about when you go through like security at the airport in the TSA.
Fuck them.
They said for some reason, like when you don't think about it, you kind of like treat them as authority figures because they have a badge on, and then when you really think about it, you're like, there's some fucking shitty ass TSA worker making
$12 an hour. Yeah,
fuck you, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, it's you're indoctrinated into that type of thing.
it really is crazy. It really is crazy. And I mean, I on a, not that I ever met the fucking guy, but on a personal level, I liked Obama. Just I felt like when he spoke on TV, it felt like he was talking to me.
See, that's
felt
why
like
that's why I don't like him, because I feel like he was kind of like too slick.
He was definitely slick,
'Cause,
yo.
I mean, dude,
he bombed more people than anybody.
he did
Like
some evil shit,
and I don't fuck with that
And
shit.
that's what, like, just the things he did, and then to be like that, like, makes me like, you
Well,
motherfucker. Like, I feel like it's all show.
Most people lack critical thinking ability. So, as a public figure, as a president, he was well mannered.
He's the
Yeah.
greatest.
He spoke well.
He's
Yeah.
the greatest speech giver of all time.
You know what? On a book
I agree
cover,
with
on
that.
a book cover, he was great.
yeah.
Yeah.
But guess what? He didn't say no to bombs that were blowing up children.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
He sent more.
he did less for gun control than Trump did.
Let me ask you guys a question, because just recently 9/11 came by and came and went again, and
Dude, it happened again?
obviously,
Jesus.
how crazy would that be, right?
Turn the TV on. sometime.
Yeah, you missed it, man.
Hey, where's that whiskey
like,
at, man? Can I hit that thing real quick?
No,
But we've been literally at war ever since.
not before me.
You know what I mean? We've
have
literally
a
been at
clue.
war ever since.
I know. It's
I
crazy.
mean, guy landed on an aircraft carrier and was like, "Hey guys, it's over. You know, no problem." Like right after it happened, but we're still there. And I mean, I don't know. What are your guys'
have you ever
feelings
seen the
on that?
video of General Wesley Clark?
Hold on. Are you about to
What are my feelings on
divert
what?
from his question?
No,
No,
it kind of goes into it.
I was just going to ask you guys. I mean, what are your feelings on 9/11? Like,
Well,
this is a
that's-
highly crazy question, but
Have
like,
you ever seen the video of General Wesley Clark talking about like being in like talking to people in the higher ups and shit when
no.
shit was going down? Well, he talks about like after 9/11, they talked about like we're invading Afghanistan. He said,
Wait, this is before it happened.
no, this is after it happened.
Oh.
And like he's talking to people about like what the plan was, and then man, I'm ready to just pull it up on YouTube and play it over my fucking mic.
Are you getting into conspiracy territory? Is that what you're kind of asking?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think
Dude, let me see.
if you've done the research that I've done, I'm not saying that the government, our government, set it up. I'm saying there's shady shit.
I did, like,
I
don't
think
I don't think
undeniable, swear on my children's lives, shady shit to a point where you have to ask more questions.
guys, I'm
Right.
I'm gonna try to play this over my mic.
Yeah, do it.
Tell me if it sounds shitty, I'll stop. But I think it should work out pretty good.
This is Alex fucking a man.
About 10 days after 9/11, I went through the Pentagon and I saw Secretary Rumsfeld and Deputy Secretary Wolfowitz. I went downstairs just to say hello to some of the people on the Joint Staff who used to work for me. And one of the generals called me in. He said, "Sir, you got to come in. You got to come in and talk to me a second." I said, "Well, you're too busy." He said, "No." He says, "We've made the decision. We're going to war with Iraq." This was on or about the 20th of September. I said, "We're going to war with Iraq. Why?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "I guess they don't know what else to do." So I said, "Well, did they find some information connecting Saddam to Al-Qaeda?" He said, No. He says, "There's nothing new that way. They've just made the decision to go to war with Iraq." He said, "I guess it's like we don't know what to do about terrorists, but we've got a good military and we can take down governments." And he said, "I guess if the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem has to look like a nail." So I came back to see him a few weeks later, and by that time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, "Are we still going to war with Iraq?" And he said, "Oh, it's worse than that." He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper. He said, I just got this down from upstairs, meaning the Secretary of Defense office today. And he said, "This is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran."
That's so crazy because, like, first of all, they're doing all of that.
Yeah,
They're
dude,
doing all of that.
It's fucking creepy. It's
And
creepy as shit.
Me and my wife were talking about it, and it's like it's so crazy because when all that was going down, and they're like, "Yeah, we're going to war with Iraq." I'm like, "Wait, why? What is
Well,
going
Saddam
on?"
has
remember,
or nuclear weapons.
I remember. Yeah, I was.
He's got yellow cake.
We're
not drop that shit.
Went to Iraq in 03, right? Like 9/11 happened in 01. I think we were going into Iraq by 03.
No, I thought it was even before.
It was before that.
It could be, but
Dude, they hopped on the. I thought they hopped on. I thought Bush was on the next day.
yeah,
he
it
was
was
like,
like-
"We know who did it."
It was a couple.
at the time,
like
I
a month
knew
or two
nothing
later.
Yeah,
about
it was close.
Like, I didn't give a fuck about politics or anything like really going on, but I still, being somebody that knew nothing about anything, I remember being a child and going, "Why the fuck are we going into Iraq? Like, why? Like, where did that come from?"
You know, like my brother is currently in Kuwait right now, and like it's fucking crazy to think about it because of course, like he wants to fight for his country and all this shit, but in the back of his mind, in the back of my mind, it's like, what's he doing there? Why did it come to this? And you know, obviously, damn right, I'll never forget 9/11 because of the imagery. The profound sense of any time could be your time, you know, seeing those planes hit, seeing those towers fall, which by the way looked exactly like a Las Vegas casino being imploded, you know, just for shits and giggles, and then they still have never released any footage of a plane hitting the Pentagon.
There's one.
It's crazy.
I'm glad you brought that up because that was my next point. Is people are so set on the Twin Towers because that's where the most lives were lost, but they forget about Schwanksville.
Yep.
Plane went down.
Yeah.
Listen. What did they find on the plane?
Nothing.
Not a drop.
Nothing.
This is a fact. This isn't some shit. I didn't go to conspiracy.com. It's a fucking fact.
Right.
A plane went down.
Nothing.
No one was on the fucking plane.
Right. There's no plane wreckage at the Pentagon. There's
No.
no wings. There was no nothing. There's no nothing. So, like, back to
Well,
my
that's the
question.
other thing too. When the plane hits the ground at 500 miles an hour, even if it slows down, the planes rip off.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like major
It's-
damage. Major damage.
So listen, let's forget about the Twin Towers for a second. If you could admit that if a plane going down with no bodies on it, nothing, for no reason at all, and the Pentagon, maybe that will open a doorway to accepting the weird shit that's involved in 9/11.
Yes, because one thing is for absolute certain in the history of the world that history
Repeats
is and
itself.
yes.
Was that what you were
but-
gonna say?
No,
It's-
but yes,
okay.
but that's also true. But history is and will always be written by the victor, right? So like we have always been able to write that history book because we always win. And this is another example of that. So regardless of what actually happened on that day or who knew what or whatever happened, we're winning. We're the most powerful nation in the world, blah, blah, blah. So what we said happened is what people need to believe.
Columbus. That's the first thing I thought of was Columbus.
Yeah. I mean, you think about like the fucking Contra Wars, Ronald Reagan, the all that shit.
Gulf of Tonkin
We have
in
done
Vietnam.
our fucking government has a long
Well, I mean,
laundry
like,
list
you know,
history of doing some really shady shit and
No,
getting
and
away with it.
There is people that like with conspiracies that they do take conspiracies like out of like they just take them out of whack. And it's like, all right, dude, like flat Earth shit. Like people they give conspiracies like real legit conspiracy theories a bad name because they just go way overboard with it.
Yeah.
And then but people sit here and like anytime you talk about anything like that, because I mean like I'm not going to sit here and say that I think 9/11 was an inside job, but I'm not also going to sit here and say that I fully believe that it wasn't.
Well, like I just said, the government had a bit of knowledge.
Yeah, I
as
think we
to
at least knew about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing too.
And,
they
well-
didn't. Out of all the spies they have all over, all the intel, they didn't know it was going to happen. But that short of time later, they know who did it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's
Like, okay, listen,
super
in the
shady.
in the statement I just said, there's no fact to it, but use logic, man.
Yeah.
Sit back and
Well,
just
that's-
use a bit of logic.
My thing
Right.
is like people go, you guys with your crazy conspiracy theories. Well, like, I think it's kind of like a way that it's fucking lazy to be like that. Like if you look at our history, certain shit that was at one time a crazy conspiracy theory is now proven to fucking be true.
Yeah.
Like the Gulf of Tonkin. The Gulf of Tonkin, at one point, it was like, I think that was a false flag. And people were like, you're just a crazy
yeah.
conspiracy
Now
theory.
there's white papers. There's white papers out.
that fucking show that it's a fact. It's a fucking fact.
Yeah. Just like Oliver North and the getting cocaine into America back then.
I was just
That
going to
shit's
say the
crazy.
CIA.
That shit's crazy.
The CIA. I had this discussion a while
Operation Northwoods
ago. Oh yeah.
with JFK.
Yeah.
And he stopped.
It's all nuts. It's so crazy.
Let me ask you, and I've been wanting to ask this. Why do you think people Because another project that I'm working on now, I want to kind of develop a method to introducing people into understanding and accepting these things.
Yeah.
So why is it that people are so detached from history and unwilling to accept the impossible? Where's that bridge? How can we bridge that gap?
I think that right now, one of the biggest problems with that and helping to achieve that is the desensitization of the public. Think about it. When we were kids, you couldn't go. First of all, there was no internet when we were kids, but now you can go on the internet and see somebody get shot. You know what I mean? And killed. And you know, seeing 9/11 changed a lot of people forever. Because before that, you never saw death on that scale.
I mean, there's people
you know?
jumping off
And so, like, I think
out of the fucking window.
I think that like when shit like that happens and like dramatic shit like that, now it's you're desensitized to it. I don't want to hear that shit. That not me personally, but somebody would say that. I don't want to hear that shit. That's too much for my brain to handle.
I'm glad you brought that up too. My mom hates when I get into this
Who's
stuff.
hot
Man,
as shit.
yeah,
His mom's hot, dude.
Okay, thanks.
We established that last night.
But I'll bring up. I'll say I'll get as extreme as it gets to prove my point, and I'll say, hey, the person you voted for, they killed this many children over. And stop it, stop it. I'm like, all right, you don't want to hear it. Is that what you're saying? And that's the way it is with
that's
everyone.
everybody. That's everybody.
People don't want to hear the fucking truth.
No.
It's almost like when you know, let's say you have like a sports player that you looked up for your whole life, and then something happens with them. You almost don't want to believe it because you idolize that guy. You know, like shit like that happens.
I always love Kevin Spacey movies, and I find out he's grabbing dicks and just fucking dudes.
Penn State.
You know,
Like I grew up loving Penn State, and then they'd be like, "No, not Joe Pa, dude. Like Joe Pa wasn't covering that shit up."
Yo, did you see the HBO movie they did about him?
It's kind of sad he did.
Did you see the Paterno movie on HBO?
No, I know of it.
Oh, you should check it out.
What's it called?
Paterno. Al Pacino plays him. It's fucking nuts, man. It's really fucking nuts because like. I don't want to spoil it for you, but like it goes into
somebody touches kids.
Just that whole somebody ends up touching kids, but
Dude,
like, but it's fucking crazy
I
because
see it.
it goes into that whole time period and like what he was, and it kind of paints Joe Paterno as borderline autistic to the point of all he cared about was football. I have one purpose in my life. That's to win football games and support this school. That's literally like what it paints him as. Like. He knew about it, what he knows, what he knows,
like,
whatever.
Simplifying it a little bit. I'm sure that kind of was true, but I mean, I think it was more like, you know, this is going to fuck up a lot of people's lives if this gets out there. I think that's more the way he thinks about it.
I think that a lot of people felt that way. I'm not convinced that that's how Joe Paterno felt. I kind of feel like Joe Paterno was just like, it was almost like in one ear and out the other. Like, I don't want to be bothered with that. Like,
I don't have time
first
for
of all,
that.
I can't prove that. So, second of all, like, I'm going to go tell somebody about it, which he did. But then nothing ever happened with it until obviously everyone found out about it. But
is that true? He told somebody?
Yeah. But they were all in on it. Not in on it doing the same thing, touching kids, but like
covering it up at least.
Because even once they got rid of Sandusky, it was still in his contract that he could still use the showers and stuff. Why? Why?
Fucking
It's because they wanted it just out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah. It's a HBO movie, Paterno,
Yeah, it's really good. Check it out.
directed by M. Night Shyamalan. Plot twist: the kids are touching themselves.
Jeez. Dude, I looked at you. I was like, really? And then I realized I'm stupid.
Spoiler alert: Joe Paterno was dead the whole time.
I see young people.
I gotta take a piss.
But yeah, it's all crazy, man. Like society is certainly in America has just become a bunch of triggered bitches.
I know, and both sides.
Both sides. Oh yeah. It's really crazy.
Yeah. You know, the right sits here and goes, "You snowflakes," you know, this offends you. And then they're right when they say that. But then, you know, Michelle Wolf comes on to the fucking. She makes some fucking great jokes. Some of them, I didn't think her whole thing was great.
Right.
But some of the jokes were fucking funny.
Funny.
Man.
Yeah, it's funny.
And I mean, you know, for them to be like, she made an abortion joke, dude. You're sitting here fucking now, and I'm, you know, myself, I'm pro-choice.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll sit here and make fucking abortion jokes all goddamn day.
Sure. Yeah.
All goddamn day.
Sure.
But
Wait, I thought. Hold on.
oh no, I meant to say pro-life. I'm pro-life. My bad.
I was just
I
gonna
meant
say. I was just
pro-life,
gonna correct you.
pro-life.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you're not pro-choice.
But that kind of infringes on your whole freedom thing that you like so much, right? Like,
Well, the whole thing is,
Well, the
whole-
libertarian stance is you can't harm others.
It's
though.
called the non-aggression principle.
Non-aggression principle.
You're free to do whatever you want as long as you're not harming someone else or stealing their things. Now that comes into play, it's a gray area.
Yeah.
So I don't really,
Yeah.
I don't condemn anybody for thinking. The other
Sure.
way.
It's
still
just
gray
your personal opinion, right?
And I mean, it comes into play as when is that a human? So I mean, once that's a human, you're harming a human. And I understand both sides of the argument because I mean, I wasn't always pro-life. I was pro-choice at one point, and that as I got more into the ideology, like I became pro-life. But I get because I was there before, so I get that point
Right.
of view.
Right.
I
I mean, I'm of the opinion that you know.
I like to kill them after they're born.
Right.
Jesus
Just wait for him to come out.
I wasn't expecting that.
Wait for him to come out. I'm of the opinion that, like, I mean, first of all, the world in itself is completely overpopulated.
Hold on. Listen, I was going to say that.
Yeah, it's
but
totally
But let me
overpopulated.
let me object that. I was going to say that, and then I thought of my objection. We don't know, though.
Who's we? Don't fucking include me in this
we
shit.
as in me and my. We don't know if the next person is going to be an Elon Musk. We don't know if the next person that's going to be born, and if we hinder the growth of the population, somebody who could have been born could solve all these problems. I think you told me this before that made me think about it.
Yeah, it is. It's yeah.
Because
I mean,
I have a bit of a nihilistic view when it comes to.
I think it's a little. It's a little too easy to just be like, yeah, we just need to start fucking killing people. I do agree. We're fucking.
It's also ambitious to think that.
No, we are. I agree with that, but I don't think that it's just like, maybe we should just start. We should just start fucking killing people. Like I don't know.
Well, let me just let me throw this out there for you on this
shit.
topic, right?
The Earth's flat.
So like, no, he's
going
Earth's
there.
totally
He
flat. I'm just
goes.
gonna push everything over
This
the edge.
lefty.
Dude,
but
hold on, real quick. I just seen something today that people are trying to push for a show. Where
Yes,
they get,
where they search for the edge of the earth.
where they get flat earthers to search. For
Oh
the
my
edge of
God!
the earth.
Please make that show.
Why
Please make
would they
that
not
show.
do it?
That's a might be news topic.
Oh
Look
my
it
God!
up. Look it up.
Please make that show. Well, let me just throw this out there for you, like because you brought up a really good point. It could be the next Elon Musk. It could be the next Donald Trump. It
The
could be
person
the
that solved
next
the
whoever.
Einstein, he solved
Right.
space travel.
Yeah,
You know,
cures like Alzheimer's and shit.
We can kill the next.
no,
Donald
cure
Trump.
herpes first.
You're right,
Kills
right.
Donald
But
Trump,
like,
dude.
but like, think about it though. Like, if you probably have like a 1 in a million shot of being that person,
Being that person.
whoever that you just named, and everyone else could either be just an average person, which is fine. I'm an average fucking person.
We need average.
Or it
people.
could just be like a fucking straight
It's
up
fucking
junkie.
Joe Schmo radio,
waste.
man.
And
not average.
realistically though, like
I'm above 8 inches.
I feel like it should be. We all talk about freedom. We all talk about that stuff. If somebody can't handle a kid, like if it's just going to create more poverty, if it's going to create more issues, then
yeah, I get
stop it. You know,
I get it. And
like,
I mean, people.
Let me
I,
play.
I don't really like the rape argument as much because that's kind of like a. How often
What's
does that
the
fucking?
what? You mean
happen?
rape or not rape?
Oh,
What's
yeah,
the rape argument?
Why
to
why
abort
can't we
rape, like rape victims.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
I thought you were talking about should I rape her or not?
I'm glad you said that because that does, dude. I hope this
The
fucking.
rape argument.
I hope this doesn't get mad listeners, man. 'Cause,
No
like,
means
if
yeah, hey.
somebody's just gonna take that out of fucking.
Listen,
What's
hold
the
on.
rape
Listen.
argument?
Yeah, my grandfather on his dying bed, he says, "No means yes, yes means anal." That's all I'm gonna say. Anyway,
I think that it's such a crazy argument, and realistically, like
I
we
think
talk
it's
about
something-
freedom,
I
like
think
I
it's something
said,
that we
it should
need to
just be
talk
up to
about.
them. It just be up to them.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I understand that point, but then also I understand like, I think a lot of people on the left don't understand that like the people on the right that are against that. It's not all people on the right side. Some people on the left are pro-life too, but I mean it's the people that are pro-life. Their argument is you're killing someone. Like, that's what they're saying.
Right.
I think people on the left look at it like you don't care about people that are poor and can't afford, and they're going, no, we're just saying be more responsible about, fucking be more careful.
Right.
And it's like you're killing someone. So I understand both arguments because
the lack of responsibility
right?
drives me nuts. There's
Yeah, oh,
no
yeah.
one is.
Aren't you pro-choice?
What's that?
You're pro-choice, aren't
Yeah,
you?
no, I'm pro-killing. No, there's a lack of responsibility. Let me get into some. You know what, dude? Since we're talking about irresponsibility, let me get into something a little bit more than that.
My autobiography.
Yeah. I think, and this is my own theory. All right, I didn't read this anywhere, but I think to some extent. I mean, this is a spider web of a theory, but when you talk about school shootings, when you talk about a husband killing his wife, when you talk about people acting out and doing all these different types of things, I think everyone in that community has a certain responsibility. Whatever numeric value you want to put to that.
Agreed.
Because what I mean by that is
you can't hold everybody accountable.
No,
but
not
I do
at all.
agree-
Not at all.
I do agree that
I don't want people to
community-
think that I'm really extreme by that. But what I'm saying is, every time you walk on the street, and again, I understand that the argument's involved in this, but
You can tell by the way I walk.
when you walk down the street and you don't hold the door open for somebody, when you don't say hi, good morning to somebody, when maybe you don't help somebody out that is trying to buy gas and they're short a couple bucks, man.
Yeah.
By you not stepping forward and doing those things, I feel like you're deteriorating the positive mentality of society. And in that, I think the minds of people that don't embrace that deteriorate. And I what I'm trying to say is, I think as a community as a whole, we all have a responsibility in how each of us act.
Well, that's kind of like
Is that kind of? Did I understand? that?
Yeah, I agree with that.
I've never had to explain that. So did I do it?
Yeah, I think so.
I
think so.
completely
Okay.
agree, and I kind of feel
Plus,
like
I'm kind of buzzed.
that's an argument I bring up to a lot of people on the left sometimes, because they'll be like, "Well, these people are poor and they can't afford it." And it's like, what makes you righteous? Because you're like, these poor people need help. Government. Make a law that makes everybody help them. I did my part.
You know what I say to them?
You didn't do shit. Like,
You know what
did you do anything for them people?
This is what I say to socialists. I'm like, listen, I'm a libertarian, or you call me a minarchist, but I'm a libertarian basically by choice.
I'm libertarians, minicars, blah, 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 blah.
Blah. I'm saying you could have socialism, man. I'll tell you what, I like socialism. Just don't push that shit on me.
Well,
You could get your little clan together and do some socialist shit over there.
See, I'm an
That's all you gotta do.
I'm an anarchist, so I'm like, cool. In my world, you can go do your socialist thing over there.
All right, you take your conspiracy shit elsewhere, dude.
Whoa.
I think that a lot of the arguments from the right on a lot of different issues that I have a problem with or that I disagree with usually stem from religious reasons. Like, for example, abortion. People are like, "Oh, Jesus wouldn't want that." Fucking Jesus wouldn't want you to be a shithead either. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus wouldn't want you to judge people for being black or gay or whatever else.
Yeah.
Like,
I think we
fuck
talked
off
about this.
with that
I
argument.
don't think we talked about it. I think we talked about it before we started recording yesterday. But I think was it me and you talking about Christianity? Oh, it was in the car last night. It was on the car last night on the way home.
Okay.
I was talking about how, like, a lot of the morals that I live my life by. My girlfriend and her family, like, she grew up in a religious family. And, like, I've never been religious. My family was never religious. In fact, I went through a point in my life where not only was I an atheist, but I was fucking kind of mean towards religious people. Like, I would say things just to piss them off.
Are you religious
I
at all?
had somebody tell me.
No, I'm more. I would
had
say more
somebody that would-
spiritual, I guess, but I'm not.
Agnostic is, I feel like, the best way to go because you're open to the idea
One
that
of
you
my-
don't
Yes,
fucking know what you're talking
I do
about.
believe there is a God, but I went through a point in my
Faggot.
life where I would just say mean things. Like, I had somebody in my life that would always push the Bible on me.
Yeah.
And one day I told him that
You want to suck his
was
dick?
like-
Wait, was it a priest?
yeah, that priest. He put his finger in my butthole.
Yeah, priest
Told me
Bobby.
Jesus said to do
Priest
it.
Bobby got you.
Well, like one of my
Priest
many
Bobby. That should be a fucking character in something, dude.
one of my many nicknames is Buddha. People call me Buddha because I dabbled in Buddhism. I don't even consider that a religion though.
He was asking me why I call you Buddha, and I was like, dude, ever since I met him, people.
Dude,
call
I
him
thought
that.
I thought you'd walk up and your belly would be bigger than Alex's. I wasn't sure.
It is sometimes. But no, back when I was in high school, man, I had no religion. I was raised a Baptist down in Richmond, Virginia. And that all changed.
Wow.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Yeah.
My aunt, who happens to be a lesbian, came to visit us from Connecticut, and she came to church with us. And somebody found out that she was a lesbian, and they literally asked my parents not to have her back at church. Like, please don't bring her back. And like, I saw how upset that made my aunt, and I was just like, I don't understand. You know, I love
Why
her.
would you
She's
wanna
a
have
great
lesbian
person.
back at church? You
Like
could bring
she's a
two
great
chicks home,
person.
man.
You know, it was offensive to me, and I refused to go back.
Yeah, I agree.
And I was young then, so like it made an impression on me. Like, you know, fuck that and fuck
Yeah.
these people. So eventually, I start reading books and I start like trying to find some sort of, I don't know, lack of a better term, meaning to life, meaning to my existence at least. and I stumbled across Buddhism, and I think I don't, like I said, I don't look at it as a religion because it's just a way of life.
It's a religion of oneself.
Right. It's an internal belief-based system where it's all about inner peace and acceptance. And I try to look at life in general in that way. Like when we talk about Colin Kaepernick, when we talk about taking a knee for the national anthem, blah blah blah. I look at it in a broad sense where it's just like, all right, and the same could be said about abortion, but whatever. In the Colin Kaepernick thing, just for an example, I look at it and I'm just like, well, I can't imagine what the national anthem means to the family of someone in the military that gave their life fighting for this country. But at the same time, I can't imagine what that national anthem means to a family of a young kid, a minority kid that was shot by a cop. I can't imagine what that song means to different people. It means something different to everyone.
That makes you more open-minded because you're able to go, I can't imagine that, but I understand why someone would feel that way.
Closed-minded people say this means this,
and that's it. And that's it. Yeah. There's no other explanation.
Yeah. Well, like you said, people would be like, why would you stand for the anthem? And some people were like, well, my whole family's fought for it. You got to be able to understand both sides. So many people just only see things one way, and I can sit here and disagree with you and understand where you're coming from.
Right, and that's what the world needs more of. Yes, is understanding and conversation.
It's understanding, it's tolerance,
and that's the keynote of Buddhism. That's the keynote of it, is acceptance and understanding. If you believe in God, and that's fine, that's great. If you want to go to church, that's fine, that's great. If it as long as it betters you as a person.
My girlfriend always says, she says,
it doesn't oppress someone else.
Right,
that's important.
The
also.
other.
That's
yes.
Yeah, she always tells me, she's like, some of the morals you live by, and some of the things you say to me. She said, I find it nuts that you've never really been religious because, a lot of the shit you, live your life by is, shit that the Bible tells you how to live your life.
Right.
And I mean, and I tell her, how, at one point, I wasn't really a big fan of, religion, and I kind of was mean about it and shit. And then as I grew as a person, I started kind of understanding that it wasn't really the religion that I was...
It was the fanatics.
It was the people that followed the religion.
Yes.
Actually, at its core, Christianity is a really good religion. It teaches that.
Yeah.
It teaches that, hey, man, try to be a good person, but we all do fucking bad shit sometimes.
Right.
And as long as when you do that bad shit, you go, that was kind of bad. And you're sorry about it.
Right.
That's pretty much at its core what it is.
Speaking of religion,
none of us are perfect, but try to be a good person in your life.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of religion, at its core, that's the fucking meaning of it.
It's
a code to live life.
All of them.
And I realized that, I'm not mad at the religion. Why am I taking this out on the actual religion?
Right.
I'm mad at this person over there. It's going, well, this person
that's doing the religion wrong.
They use it to make themselves look good. And
right.
They're not actually doing it to be a better person. But then you do meet people that are actually using it. I've met so many people that are very religious, but they don't try to push their religion on you. They're religious because it's for them.
Yeah.
Which is the reason you're supposed to be religious.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I gain more of a respect for the actual religion and religions over time.
Let me speak on this because I battle with religion. I'm obviously agnostic. I appreciate. Yep. I mean, I do what I do. I like dick. I to a point I'm almost envious of people who are religious because
they have something to live for?
I think about the psychology behind the thinkings of all these things. What?
It's just the way you started that off.
Shut up.
All right, I'll be quiet.
It gives you salvation from the fears of the world.
People have to come to conclusions. They have to compartmentalize certain thoughts and events and make sense of them.
Yeah.
And I think religion really does that. It
does.
Seriously does.
It's supposed to, yeah. Yeah.
Well, okay. There's an even better way to put it. But it gives you faith in when you die.
Right.
Because to me, when I die, I'm just going to...
It's a black it's a black screen.
Yep. Black. Yeah. I thought you were going to go somewhere else with that. Okay.
I think it's going to be like a DMT trip.
Yeah, let me ask you something for real, though. in religious terms.
Your brain produces.
I have
it shoots
a
out.
problem.
No, it doesn't.
I have a problem believing in any one religion because of this core belief inside of my body that we are descendants of aliens, human beings.
That's possible. You know why I don't believe in them? Because ain't no such thing as halfway crooks.
Damn.
Let me just
Booyah!
let me just throw this out there.
We're gonna wrap up. Everyone, thanks for listening. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead, man. Go ahead, bro.
So like what I was saying though is that like you think about it, there's no other organism on the planet that has a fucking cell phone or a house or can build bridges or knows astrology or knows what's at the fucking bottom of the ocean or even knows that other planets exist, right? There's no other thing on the planet Earth that can feel what we feel,
That has
do what
the
we
amount of
do.
conscience.
I mean, there's animals obviously that have a paternal instinct, taking care of their young, this and that, whatever. But that's literally where it stops. That's literally where it stops. Like you see, like monkeys in the jungle and stuff. They have like tribal instincts. Like they all kind of stick together, packs of wolves, things of that nature. But literally, that's where it stops. There's nothing else on this planet that even remotely comes close to what we can do and what we have done. And to me, that just means that we came down in some fucking capsule as some germ from who knows where, and eventually over thousands and thousands and who knows how long, we turned into us.
See, I kind of go the other way with that. I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Can
I think a lot of the things we do are very animal instinctish. Like
Instinctish. I love
that.
dude, that is. I think Webster's gonna pick that one up, dude.
Well, we can't deny where we came from
that's
as
a fucked up word, isn't it?
No, instinkish.
well,
Yeah,
we can't deny where we came from as a species. I do believe in like cavemen. I do believe that like the prehistoric era,
Well, I
like,
mean, like,
we
you know,
came from
well,
something
I think like
along
when you
those
talk about
lines.
like building bridges and doing this and that, I think a lot of that comes from trying to be an alpha
Yeah.
pack.
Oh yeah, which
know,
we certainly are.
We innovate. Like you got to be better than the last guy.
But my
you
point
set
is
new
that there's
standards, set new
nothing even
standards.
close. There's nothing even close.
I know
Like
what
there's
you mean.
there's no insect, there's no
Let me-
ape, there's
can-
no fish or
Can I give my
anything.
theory and then Alex, you can give a rebuttal? Silence feels good. I just want to give a second. I thought I was gonna fart. It didn't come
Collect
out.
yourself.
No, but
Wrong.
there's a lot. There's
Wrong.
There's endless theories. They say that we are the aliens. We came here. Maybe aliens brought us here as an experiment. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, yeah, that sounds like some sci-fi shit. You don't know shit if you say that's wrong.
Wish aliens
Honestly,
Wish
Right.
aliens would come
Who
here and take
knows?
my fucking kids.
Somebody
man.
says it's wrong, prove it.
Yeah.
Prove it.
yeah.
Prove it. I
No,
can't
but-
prove that we did come from that.
Here's what I think personally. I
Yeah.
think that the organism that created us, and this is obviously if you believe in or don't believe in evolution. Actually, I don't know if because the organisms would evolve anyway.
No, we just showed up one day.
Maybe the organism that created us was scattered about the universe.
yeah.
It landed on a habitable
Yeah, you got it.
extinctious. What was the word you
I
said?
know an organ created me. My dad's dick.
Oh, Jesus. So Alex's dad's dick is
choo.
floating about the universe.
Alex's dad's dick is the fountain of civilization.
going.
Darwin discovered Alex's dad's dick.
Darwin was like, "It's called Darwinism." My dad was like, "It's called Dickism."
Dickism.
Now keep going there, man.
Shit, man. No, I can't now.
Nah, dude, I was feeling it. I just heard a joke there. I just fucking keep
No,
going.
if you know, I specialize in astrophysics, so I'm just saying.
Wait, what?
I don't know. I'm just gonna start talking shit. But the molecule that created us, I believe, had to have been scattered about the universe. It landed on a habitable environment, and and then it started taking effect. It started growing. It started
It's fucking-
evolving in a certain way. I don't believe in evolution to the full extent that they talk about.
That's what makes me like, you know,
But here, let me
go
here.
from atheist to believing in something because, like, I mean, it's so many things that went right.
No,
for
but
us to be
that's
here.
again, that's to me that's a human flaw that you need to reach to compartmentalize a particular belief or faith or idea.
Yeah,
I'm not willing to do that. I'm not willing. Here's the other thing too. I think too many humans Humans, like I'm above them.
I'm a
I'm floating
human.
above them.
I'm a
You
human.
humans.
Yeah,
You fucking puny human.
yeah, these puny,
Bow before
these,
me.
these peasants. No, but it's funny that people need to draw conclusions, and I'm trying to start to just sit back and say I don't know. Maybe, clear across the board, but
Well, yeah, I've always been like, so I want to see evidence for everything. I don't believe anything until like there's something that fucking shows me. I say with everything, like the whole Trump with the Russia thing, like, okay, cool. I haven't seen nothing. Like, I want to see fucking evidence.
we're talking about the universe. You bring up Trump.
Well, I'm just saying, like, no, I'm relating.
He's
that
starting
to,
a
like,
Space Force.
I'm
Space Force. Starting a Space Force.
No, I'm relating that to the fact that like I don't really believe anything. Like we were talking about the 9/11 thing. Like
Yeah.
I don't believe one way or the other. I think there's some fishy shit there, but I think there's also shit that kind of like puts some of the fishy shit down, like some evidence.
Well, in one way or another, it happened. Right? One way or another, it
Yeah.
happened. So,
So, I mean,
it doesn't
like,
even
when
matter
you-
what
when you
we
say, like, I
believe
don't-
as individuals. It
But
happened.
you say I don't know, and it's you saying pretty much what I just said. Like I don't have no evidence, so therefore I'm not going to sit here and say one way or the other because I don't fucking know.
I was just thinking earlier because I watched Neil deGrasse Tyson on Joe Rogan,
Yeah. Love him.
and he really, dude,
He's real down to earth, dude.
I love
he's,
that
he's
guy,
really
dude.
cool because he's down to earth.
Him and
dude,
Bill
he's
Nye are
very-
like two of my favorite guys. I love
all right.
them.
Well, fuck Bill Nye.
I'm not a big fan of Bill Nye either.
For real?
Dude, he's paid. Listen. Let me make another. There's no facts behind this.
Yeah.
The government's paying him.
Oh, I agree.
No
I agree.
facts behind it. The government's fucking paying him.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway,
And he's not a scientist.
dude, well, he has what engineering?
Yeah, he's an engineer.
he's
He's
an
an
engineer.
engineer.
Some engineer. There's a name in front of that
I don't even
engineer.
think he doesn't have a. I think he might have a master's in it.
He's an honorary, which basically they give you a degree just for.
Yeah, so was Bill Cosby.
He was just there. He just like showed up.
Oh, Cosby, he's a good guy.
Do you know Cosby used to make people call him Dr. Cosby?
Really?
Just to be an ick because he was an honorary doctor from Temple.
I
Honorary.
did not
That's
know
what
that.
it was. Honorable. What'd I say?
Honorable.
Honorable. Thank you.
Honorable judge.
But what
Honorable
what
Judge
was Neil
Mathis, yeah,
deGrasse Tyson
Judge
talking
Mathis.
about?
Basically, how it's
science.
the common theory about the expanding of the universe, it's speeding up, and blah 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 blah. And even if you take that, what I just said at face value, if it's expanding, it's going faster. Well, the faster part doesn't make sense, but if it's expanding, it came from a point.
Right.
It began at a point.
Sure.
And I mean, it gets so much more complex
Want
than
to
that.
see my point?
What?
The vastness of space is something that just amazes and
Mind-blowing.
terrifies.
You know what?
Terrifies
Mind
me.
blowing.
Let me one up you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the vastness of space, infinitely small. Think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
And
that.
people are like, nah,
Dude, you
atoms.
just blew my fucking mind with that one.
Dude, think about that, because people. I mean, there's billions and billions, whatever galaxies. There's different Then you want to talk about different dimensions?
Dimensions. Yeah.
Take your pants off and drink a beer, dude, because
Right.
you're about to get your fucking shit.
Hashtag smoke DMT.
No, don't do that. Yeah, maybe. All right, do it. Do it.
Let me tell you a story about DMT.
Can we finish this?
I go for it. God damn it. All right, you're done.
Okay, fair enough.
Nah, go ahead.
No, all right.
Nah, dude, a friend of mine at work, right? Motherfucker was just a straight drug addict. Like, not even just like a certain drug. Like, he did everything. Dude, he wasn't allowed to go in Rite Aid because he bought Robitussin too many times because he Robotripped every fucking day.
Holy shit.
Wow.
He's a straight drug addict, dude. He was like, he did coke all the fucking time. Like, he's just on everything.
What's his
Drank
name?
All,
What's his
I'm not-
name?
Why do you always ask me that? I'm not putting people's names
I'm
out
gonna
there.
get you to fuck up
Throw
one
him
of
under
these
the
times.
bus all the way.
Anyway, his boy came up from Florida and he had some DMT. He said, dude, I made this shit with the intention of selling it, and after I smoked it, I can't sell it. I have to give it away to people. Like, people have to have this shit. So I gave him some. And he went home and smoked it one night. Came back into work the next day like, he seen fucking God, dude. I swear to God, he's like seen God. And like he talked to me and he told me about it a little bit. And he was like, dude, I smoked it. I'm laying in my bed. He said like a glossy film came between like the wall and me. And he said the eye of horse showed up. Like the Egyptian sign for the eye of horse.
Eye of Ra.
It's Horus. Their main god, the main Egyptian god. I could be wrong on that.
Horse. I thought it was horse.
Horus.
Horse. Yeah. Okay.
It's Horus. But he was like,
Shut up.
It was weird because I've seen it before. He was like, it was weird because I've seen it before, but I was never into shit like that.
Yeah.
Because they just showed the fuck up on like this like filmy material and like, almost like a glowing gold. And he said, and like all these different like Egyptian hieroglyphs showed up on this shit. And he said, and then these little bubble things came out. He said one was in the front and a bunch were behind him. And he said the bubbles were like one was there in the front and like other ones were like peeking out behind him. Like almost like as if they were like, oh shit, that's him. Like almost like trying to get a look at him. And he said like him and the front bubble thing were like talking, but they weren't actually talking. They communicated and it was trying to tell him to come with him. And he was going, I can't. I didn't smoke enough. Dude, this is like 3 years ago. He hasn't drank, did any drugs, or smoked a cigarette in 3 years.
He's scared.
Lifts weights, eats healthy, all the fucking, like, he's like a health nut now. And he's like just a completely, he's still the same dude. Like, he's funny as fuck. He's still the same exact guy, but he's like, he's left that, like,
So he's
fucking
not weird. He's not, like, weird
He's not
now.
like a scumbag, like, fucking drug addict. He's still the same dude, but he's
You know
just,
what, man?
He's
That
just,
makes
like, made his life better.
That makes you question the capacity of the human mind, dude. Right? Or
Dude,
no?
Yeah,
Am I-
def-
okay,
def-
okay.
definitely.
It blew me the fuck away. 'Cause,
Psychedelic
like,
drugs
I've
are
seen-
so wild, and
I've
they
heard about that, like, listen to Joe Rogan and shit. Like, you hear about, like, people smoking DMT or going and drink ayahuasca and that shit happening.
Right.
But for somebody that I know to do that and then come into work the next day and just see that.
And you know you
as soon
believe
as-
him. I know what you're saying. You believe him.
As soon as I
Yeah.
walked in and seen the look on his face, I was like, dude, holy shit. Because, you hear it from, like, these other people and you're like, maybe they're just.
As it
kinda-
becomes one step further, it's less believable.
Yeah.
Don't drink all that. Give me some.
No, it's
It was just
it's
crazy.
so crazy because I've tripped a bunch of times and seen so many crazy things. I've never had like a religious
On
experience, but acid and shrooms were my two
Dude,
things.
Yeah,
that
fuck
did it all.
acid.
Mushrooms are.
I agree. Fuck acid.
I'm okay with acid. I don't think I've. I don't think it's ever, like, done anything divine to me.
No,
Mushrooms have.
I've never had a religious experience on it.
Mushrooms have. Mushrooms, the way I am, like the way I go about my life, the way I worry about myself and I let other people be who they are. And, if, let's say you were kind of cool to hang out with, but you were also kind of shady,
Right.
and you might be a little shysty, you might try to, like if I leave money on the counter, you might take a couple of my bucks. Instead of being like, fuck that dude, I'm gonna fuck that dude up, I'm like, yeah, it's who he is. Like, he's not one of my good friends. I just know not to leave money around him.
Right.
Like, I don't try to control what I can't control.
Trust people to
And,
be
like, it's
themselves.
like my life philosophy, like, now, and like ever since I've kind of gotten into that, like, I've been happier, and I owe that all to mushrooms.
Wow.
All to mushrooms.
There have been studies that came out that aren't even believable. Like, I read it and I appreciate it and I understand where the
I don't
studies came
believe it.
from. No, I don't believe
I
it.
don't believe the studies are unbelievable. How's that for a mindfuck? I don't even know what the fuck that means.
This is Joe Shmoe Radio. Thank you for listening.
Oh,
no, I'm
don't
just kidding.
cut off that.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
No, I was actually just about to say before we got like into that. Let me know before we wrap up. I do want to. I want to talk
No,
to you
are you,
about something.
are you you're good on time though?
Yeah, I'm okay. Okay.
This
We
is
gonna have
going
another
pretty.
long one?
What? No, I don't want to. Maybe not 2.5 hours.
I can
man.
go for a little while longer, a
Okay.
little bit longer. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, whatever.
Okay.
I don't give a fuck. Well, we can go as long as fucking ever.
He doesn't care. He's wearing a Vikings jersey. He obviously.
On Adrian Peterson, iron-on, faded Vikings.
Yeah, let's. Man, I could talk about psychology all day though. I'm sorry.
it's
I'm glad
nuts.
you brought that
Let's
up.
talk
Yeah.
about my jersey.
No,
Looks
we're
old.
gonna lose so many
shit.
viewers, dude.
Actually, what I wanted to talk about, I'm gonna bring up now because we actually just got into it. You're wearing your nice fucking NFC champion shirt. Well, I don't know why the fuck you're wearing an NFC champion shirt.
Yeah.
When we won the fucking Super
Listen,
Bowl.
I
It's an NFC East
Each
champion.
listen,
God
each
damn
week,
it.
each week
Fucking
in the playoffs last year, I went out and bought a new shirt. So I have one for the NFC East, I have one for the NFC, I have one for the Super Bowl.
Nice.
So it's
Dude,
like bang, bang, bang,
Dude,
bang.
you make money because they're $50 a
Yeah.
piece.
Oh, I didn't
dude.
give a fuck. I was like, yo, I'm out. I got one for me and my wife. Here, bang, bang, bang. Here it is.
Well, no, I wanted to talk about because when I first got the idea of starting a podcast years ago, you just started doing Might Be News.
Yeah.
And I was like, I called you up and I was like, hey, man, can I come over and check out how you doing shit and all. You were like, dude, come over and be on the fucking podcast. I was
Yeah.
like, even better.
Fuck it.
So I came over and like we were in your bedroom and you had your laptop
Wow.
on the bed.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, it was very. It
Oh,
was
I was
very.
gonna say.
You had your,
I didn't know.
you had your fucking MacBook on the bed.
Yep.
And we literally sat in a circle around one microphone.
Yep.
And you still, even with that fucking setup, you still made shit sound great.
Thank you.
Not as good as it is now. Like,
Sure.
it
Yeah.
used-
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But
yeah.
then years go past, you were still doing it. I didn't really listen to it as much. I tried to keep up with it a little bit. But that idea kind of went on the back burner for me, and then I kind of came back up. So I started kind of thinking about what I wanted to do and like who I'd want to do it with, and I hit Ian up, and he was like, "Dude, I've been thinking about starting a fucking podcast myself."
Yeah.
So we get together.
It's a great
I haven't seen
outlet.
this fucking dude since high
Oh,
school.
oh my god.
I haven't seen this dude since fucking high school, dude. We get together to just talk a little bit, like
Yeah.
a couple times. Like
I
at
was
a
like,
bar,
this dude's weird.
and fucking,
He is.
he's pulling his
how-
dick out.
Yo, when we first met, how passionate was I, dude?
Dude, it was like crazy because we both just, it was like, fucking, I chill with this guy every fucking
Dude, we
day.
were at
Right.
Chili's. We held each other's boners. It was fucking insane. No.
No,
Well, me and
I
you go
told
way
him-
back, Alex.
Yeah.
Like we've known each other for years.
and I told him, like, when we were getting ready to do this, I was like, dude, I had a buddy that I got with a couple years ago when I had this idea. I was like, at the time, he was doing it with, like, nothing. And he was making it fucking work as good as he possibly could.
Yeah.
I was like with nothing. It was like fucking rubbing two sticks together, and he was fucking making
It
something.
was
with it.
fucking hard.
And
I'll
I was
tell
like,
you
and
that.
I know who he is. I've known him for a long time. Like I've known you as a musician. I knew you through the Grimy Green show. Check out Smack and Madison on the Grimy Green show.
Yeah, dude, that was still one of the best episodes we
Hold
ever
on.
did.
Did you sneak in a plug or what, dude? A plug of an old band.
For a band that I'm not even in anymore.
That's okay. That episode doesn't exist on the internet anymore. So
Really?
yeah,
Oh shit.
I didn't
well,
pay.
Don't
I didn't-
check out
I
Smack and
didn't-
Madison.
I didn't pay for SoundCloud back then,
can
so
still
there's
check
no
out
like
Smack and Madison.
cataloging. Yeah.
You have to pay for SoundCloud?
Well, in order to catalog, yeah. If you want to have like right now, I have 50 some episodes up.
But anyway, like
But
I
it's all
knew,
there.
like at the time, I didn't know you were like you started going to school for engineering. And
Yeah,
shit, and
yeah.
I didn't know all that, and I just told him I was like, I had a friend that was doing this a couple years ago, and he was making this work with nothing. Like he was making it work with nothing, and I was like, and just knowing who he is, this is like 2 or 3 years later. I'm guaranteeing like he's got shit on lock by now because you've always been that type of dude. Like you'll sit there for hours on end, like just working on a fucking beat.
Tired.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you
all
make
night long.
Did you make beats?
I still do. Yeah.
No
Yeah.
shit.
I
Dude,
produce
he's
all the music for my
fantastic.
whole network too.
Fantastic.
Yeah, like I have jingles and different like
Any-
intros for shows
You got
that
any
I
plugs?
make all that stuff.
Plug something.
Yeah, I can play something for you guys.
No, plug.
Oh, plug for you
Plug
guys.
Alex's butt. No,
No,
yeah,
like
no,
if you got
it's-
anything to plug of your own.
Oh, well, I mean, aside from Might Be News Network, I mean, Organic Theory with a K. I'm not doing that really anymore, but Just Green is the name of my production. That's what I do when I make beats and
Yeah.
stuff. So you can look on SoundCloud for Just Green. That's one word, Just Green. You can go out and find all kinds of beats, music, different things I've been doing since 2008, I guess.
Oh wait, baby.
Yeah, a little bit
Damn,
before that
dude,
too.
that's a time, dude.
Yeah,
Where'd you
it's-
go to school?
I didn't even have hair on my nuts,
Downtown
son.
West. I
Did you?
graduated, and I didn't go to college, but we Organic Theory. We were together for a long time. We did a bunch of big shows. Opened up for Method Man, Redman.
Organic Theory was the shit.
I was gonna say, did you?
Freeway.
There was a bunch of you guys, right?
At first, there was like 5 of us,
Yeah.
and ended up being 2 of us.
Dude, it was best when it was just you and Harmon. In my opinion.
I agree.
In my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, not to
Wait,
shit
did
on
it
everybody
grow-
else.
No,
but
did
it
it-
was,
did
it
it-
was,
shit on
it was
anybody
way
else.
more of a process.
Did it
then.
grow from 2 to 5, or was it 5?
It started
to less?
5 and went to 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
It started out as 5, then it went to 6, and then it went down.
What primarily did you, as far as the message, the style? What did you really? What would you rap about?
We rapped about being broke. We rapped about being high as shit, fucking tons of bitches, and making music. Like that was literally what it was about. And
Dude,
like,
their house was gross.
oh my
man.
god, our house was a
Dude,
fucking
I found
pit.
a pair of panties in their couch one time.
No one knew who they were.
It had
No
this
one knew where they came
gross
from.
white film in the crotch
Oh,
area.
it's
dude.
horrible. No one knew who they were.
still
And
remember
like, dude, it
to
was
this
like
day.
we went through so much as like a music group that like it's like you think about it as like like you think about like the coming up stories of like these
Yeah.
rappers and things and musicians, whatever. And
Yeah.
that's literally to a T where we were at. Like I was eating fried potatoes and rice every night for dinner. Like I was broke as fuck.
Oh, fucking
but
right,
I had
dude.
microphones and I had all this equipment and
Dude,
I like
I
Hey, you know
used
did
to-
all
what?
that
You
used
shit.
to
felt
blast
something when
over
you were
your house.
recording.
Right. Oh
Do you
yeah.
remember when we tried to record the EP at your house and we couldn't get the drums quite right?
Yeah.
I was actually just kind of talking about that today. I was like, dude, trying to fucking
you were talking
record
about with him.
Yeah.
acoustic drums,
Ah.
because we were talking about that podcast. I was like, dude, I've been through it. I was like, try to record acoustic drums. Like, it's just a pain.
It's
in the ass.
it's so hard,
Yeah.
especially like the setup that we had then, and like I just like I was saying earlier, I grew up, I got to a point in my life where I wasn't necessarily broke anymore, so that kind of eliminated that from my raps.
Yeah, rich
I was in
from
a
getting
long-term relationship, which kind of eliminates fucking tons of bitches from my raps. And like I don't know, it became
Dude, sometimes in a relationship, isn't it funny? Because like sometimes I'm like, man, I'm a little bitch nowadays. Like, I used to be so fucking hard up, man.
Yeah,
And I'm
it's
like, man, I'm
funny
a little
because
bitch.
like I felt like that in all my relationships until I got with my wife. It's you know you have to find the right person that pushes you to be better
No, but
and
just
whatever.
Certain things like
And I don't think that she would give
like,
a
dude,
shit if I
the-
rapped
the other
about fucking
morning- the
tons of
other
bitches
morning
right
my,
now. But.
My girl got she woke me up.
What are you about
early.
to say? What are you
She
about
woke
to
me
say?
up early. I'm not telling that story.
Oh, I'm gonna text her and ask her if it's okay.
But she woke me up early. This is like a week or two ago. I got fucking pissed, dude. I flipped the fuck out. But when I'm single, I'll go to sleep at 4 in the morning in my car and go to work at 6.
Yeah.
I got mad at her because she woke me up like a half hour early.
But yeah, like it's just
Yo, I'm such a bitch.
and
man.
straight up, shout out my wife Jackie.
Jackie.
She pushed me. Like she pushed me to be better. I wasn't making music anymore when we got together, but I was still I was making beats, but I wasn't rapping anymore. But I've met so many people over the years through music that on a creative level, it's always just kind of I always look at my peers, my friends, and I try to learn from what they're doing. And
Learn what and what not to do.
exactly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, you always have
absolutely.
to- you have to look at both.
absolutely. And I've always been the type of guy that like I like to help people too. So like coming over here, like checking out your guys' setup, and just like you guys are just getting started.
That's what, dude. I couldn't wait to get to today because I was like, dude, I can't do this any longer. Like, I know he's gonna come over here and at least make something. You made so many things so much easier now.
The individual tracks, dude.
It changed everything. I couldn't figure out. How
It's
to fucking
cool as
do
shit
it.
to look at, isn't it? Like you just know that
I'm
everything's
like-
gonna be okay now. You just know that everything's gonna be okay.
dude,
I'm
That's what
looking
I
at a
was-
screen
that's
that's
what
gonna
I'm
make
saying,
us famous.
When I
It's
told him, I was
definitely
like, dude, I'm gonna hit this guy up. I'm gonna go over and check out his setup now because I know it's 10 times better now.
Right.
And of course I was right because I know who the fuck you are.
Yeah.
So I mean, like again, I was like, "Hey, can I just come over and check out the way you're doing shit nowadays?" Like, dude, come the fuck on the goddamn podcast.
Right. Right.
Why do you keep saying this stupid shit? Get the fuck on my podcast.
Yo, let me ask you. He
So-
said
Go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
you're
No,
filming.
never mind. I changed my mind.
God damn it! You're filming in seasons.
Yeah, we do seasons. Like season 3 ended up being 6 months long. Like once a week we got together. We recorded an hour-long show.
I'm pretty sure eventually you guys aren't going to be doing seasons. I can
No,
tell.
well,
No,
now-
but I'm saying,
we have a network,
So
so
for 6
stuff.
months you do a season, and then you take 6 months off.
No, we took like this break ended up being longer. It was 2 months. But the only reason it was that long is because I got married during that time. So like leading up to it, it's like, all right, like a month after we had our season finale.
Getting married fucked it up.
Yeah, like we had a month later. It's like, all right, well, I'm only a couple weeks away from getting married. Like, I really don't feel like starting this right now, and then have to like take some time off and
Yeah.
do all that. Like, start, pause,
Yeah.
pause, and because consistency is the name of my game. Like,
Yeah.
it's all about consistency, and not just consistency in time, but consistency in product. You want to consistently make yourself better.
Oh,
You want to
yeah, definitely.
consistently push yourself and come up with ideas that set you apart
that was kinda
from
like-
everyone else.
That was kind of what I was getting into because, like, me and you never really talked about it. I mentioned it to you the other day when we talked, but we never really talked about it in depth because we got so busy on shit.
Mm-hmm.
But when I came over to come on the podcast,
Yeah.
you know, the podcast might be news. It was just a podcast, but you were like, "Hey, I'm thinking about starting this as a network."
Yeah.
And once, like, maybe your podcast could be on the network, and we were game for the idea. Like, we could go over there, we record and shit. Like, we kind of started weighing out the pros and cons of it, and it was like, all right, well, what we kind of came down to was like we kind of wanted to do the same thing that you were doing,
Right.
To eventually grow this, and then maybe have a network.
Right.
So it was like, well, the pros of joining your network are like we're joining your network, and we just come over. You take care of all the shit. The pros of our thing is, we're starting our own thing. We're building up from the ground.
Sure.
The cons of it are we don't know what the fuck we're doing.
And that's fine because I'll tell you what that's
So, I mean,
that's
that
half
was
the
like
fun in the
that
beginning.
was the initial reason
is.
why we decided to not join the network.
Well, dude,
And,
just like today, we basically lost an episode.
Yeah.
Basically.
Well, let me just throw this out there that it's obviously never too late. We're friends. I mean,
Yeah.
we can talk about things in the future, but
Well, yeah,
like,
but it wasn't like
for now,
It
it's-
wasn't like shit got weird. Like it was
Right,
almost like we just got
right.
busy and we never really.
oh yeah. Well, and also like I'm very conscious of what I want, and I am also very conscious of the fact that as far as like my podcast, my network, my life, and my creative abilities, I'm in the driver's seat, baby. I'm the
Yeah,
one that
and
moves it,
you're
and
that
I
type
like
of person.
I'm
And
the fucking
You know what?
guy.
So I'm like that too.
Yeah.
So I mean,
And that's why you can appreciate that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Fucking
When
right,
we
dude.
you and I had conversations about it, and it was like it became clear to me, like probably the first conversation that we had after you were over, where it's like I don't think Alex is going to want to do this, just because like I know you're going to want to do this. You're going to want to
I
figure
wanna
this
do my
out,
thing.
right? And so like it was never. It all comes back to.
But if I were to do it like under someone, you would be that type of person that want to do it under.
Sure, and
'Cause
I appreciate
you're
that.
Not
I appreciate
somebody,
that.
You're not somebody that's like it's my way or the highway. You're kind of like me.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
I want to do my thing, but I want to do my thing because I want to take other people's shit in.
Right. Right.
Like, it's not like no, it's just the way I'm.
With
doing
all the other shows on my network, I tell all the hosts and things like they have total creative control.
it. As long as
Like
you suck my dick.
Novak and Francho. I just met these guys. Like we have mutual friends, things of that nature.
Dude, I met Novak. Novak came to see Smack and Madison
He's a trip.
with Greek, who's actually going to be on next weekend.
He's a great dude.
Novak came with Greek to see us. Dude, we played a terrible set. It was the last time we ever played live. And I got off stage and I was fucking pissed. Because my tuner pedal, for some reason, was reading that I was in tune, but I was a half step down.
Oh.
And the whole fucking time, I'm like, dude, something's up. I'm trying to fix it while I'm fucking playing, dude. And I'm like, my tuning is terrible right now. And Novak tried to be nice. He was like, no, you guys sounded good. I'm like, no, we didn't.
But like,
I mean, maybe he did think we sounded good, but I knew we didn't.
well,
It just fucking bothered the
they were like
shit out of me.
apprehensive at first too, because like they've done a handful of things. Like they did Radio Bam and stuff on Sirius satellite radio,
Yeah.
like years ago, and like they were kind of apprehensive about joining our team because it's just like, well, A, what are we going to talk about? B, what's your role in all this? And C, like, do I have creative control?
Mm-hmm.
And basically, the only thing I do is sit there, make sure that those 3 tracks are going right, make sure that everything sounds okay, and if they need some input, I'll throw it in there. But like realistically, like relatable, like Might Be News is me and 2 of my best friends. Relatable Radio is me producing my wife and my 2 co-host wives on Might Be News. So it's like a flip thing. So
Say this again. Your wife has.
my wife is the host of Relatable Radio, as well as my 2 co-hosts on Might Be News.
I was gonna check that. I checked all the other ones.
No,
Oh,
no,
it's
no,
great.
no, no,
Check
he-
that
They're
out.
hold on,
great.
hold on. He was explaining.
Yeah,
Go-
so Relatable Radio is my wife Jackie and my co-host Kev, his wife Amy, my co-host Danny, his wife Allison. So it's basically ladies' night version of
it's like
Might Be
a
News.
reversible
So
version.
it's dope as shit. So like,
Awesome.
so on one
I wanted to
episode,
check it out.
you'll hear like us talk about like different events, different things, different whatever,
So,
and
like,
then
it
you get to
intertwines
Relatable
a little bit.
Radio. It does, but it doesn't. because like relatable
Yeah,
radio,
they'll
like
talk
they
about
talk
it.
about like mom fails. Like
Yeah.
Allison talks about how she forgets to pick her kids up from school or some shit, or like you know what I mean. She signed her kid up for she tried to sign her kid up for like beginners baseball and ended up being the league for mentally challenged kids.
Jesus
So like, you know what I mean?
Christ.
So like, that's the kind of show relatable radio is. It's like really funny because these
No,
girls
that's
are
not
hysterical.
relatable though. That is out there shit, dude.
But no, we all fuck up like that, dude.
But yeah, and that's the
No,
point. But,
that's- no, I'm kidding.
you know Hurricane Farms up here?
Yeah.
They do
Off
like
of
that-
100?
No, right up here off of 82.
Okay.
Hurricane
Nobody knows
Hills,
what that is, but
Hurricane
okay.
Hills.
Go ahead.
They do this big thing at like Halloween, like a big like corn maze, and they got this big, these big like sewer pipes that are like rigid.
yeah.
The inside smooth. They have a big one of them that goes down this huge fucking hill. And the bottom of it is like a haystack. It's like a huge slide for kids. My daughter was like maybe 3.
Yeah.
I was going down the slide with her. Like she had to sit on my lap to go down. She loved it. She won't go down alone now.
Alex is heavy. For everyone who's listening and doesn't see,
Oh, I
he's
carry
going
weight.
fast.
I carry weight, motherfucker.
All right, so you're.
But I'm trying to get her to go down by herself, and she wouldn't. So I lied to her and said I was going down, and then got out of the slide and pushed her down, and she went, "Daddy!" going down the
Hashtag
slide.
horrible father.
And I started laughing. I turned around, and all the parents were looking at me like, "You piece of shit, dude!" I thought it was hilarious.
Dude, you probably had a beer in your hand.
Well, I figured I was like, my thought was she's scared to do it, but once she does it, she's gonna really like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
Like,
I get it. I feel it.
it's like when you're a kid and the first time you ride a roller coaster, like you're scared as shit, but after like you do it, you're like, that was fun as fuck.
Right. Right.
So that was my thought. No, I actually traumatized the fuck out of her.
Can I got to bring it back. I've been holding this question in because Alex has been talking so much. What are your ambitions? And I'm talking about, I asked Alex.
Jerking
Alex,
off, watching sports.
It's
pretty good.
Fair
That's
enough.
pretty good list.
Fair enough. No, we know you.
My ambitions.
No, hold on. I asked Alex this last night. You actually said to me, no one ever asked me that. Because I said the pinnacle of ambition. What did I say?
You said, what are the. We were hammered.
Well, of course.
Yeah,
Obviously.
when he asked me,
No,
dude,
but no,
I
like-
had to actually stop and think. It wasn't just, what are your ambitions?
It was something. It was a lot else. But
Well, that's a profound question because a lot of people don't think
it,
that
no, it
far
was a
in
lot, it was
advance.
a lot more specific.
Yeah.
About,
Sure.
like, what-
and let me tell you.
It was more like, what is your ambition on like this here, like what we're doing here, like where do you?
No,
where do you
it
see
wasn't.
this?
He's lying. Don't. It wasn't that.
It was something like that. I
No.
don't know, man.
What
I
are-
could
He
be
doesn't.
wrong.
Again, he was hammered.
What are my ambitions?
And he was driving.
My ambitions.
No,
would,
but I'm talking about, and I want to preface this.
yeah.
I'm talking beyond ambition, achievable ambition, but yeah, I don't know.
So life
I
in
don't
general.
know. I don't know.
Listen, listen.
Because I
I'll
thought
break,
I'd
I'll
add
break it
to it,
down
but
for
I'm
you.
not going to.
No,
I'll
just
break-
say whatever the fuck you want. 'cause
He
that's
knows,
not
he
even a
knows, he
question.
knows.
I'll break it down for you.
He knows.
So, and life in general is a series of small victories or small defeats, right? That's what it is. And
I would agree.
going through my life, I always knew that I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know.
What do you do now? You never. I don't think you actually. told
For
me.
my job, I work for a fence company. It's garbage. I'm a supervisor. I've been doing the same thing for 10, 11 years
I'm
now.
fucking sick of it.
what-
Dude,
who you
me
work
and you are
with?
in the same boat. I'm fucking sick of my job.
No, who do you work with?
Country Estate Fence.
Oh, I worked for Fence Authority for.
We sell to them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Pussies.
but it's this thing where it's just like I knew that I always knew I was creative. I was like a writer early on. I would write like stories, short stories, books, whatever, and just trying to like get ideas out. And as far as podcasting goes, like this, I feel like is my niche. Like I found something that I'm good at and I enjoy doing
Dude,
constantly.
you have a radio voice. Like
Thank
you
you.
have that like.
Yeah.
this is-
no, he does.
This is LBJ News.
Yeah.
I was gonna have,
Blues,
dude,
baby.
I was gonna have him open the show and just be like, "Hey, I'm the guest. This is Joe Schmo Radio."
Yeah.
But it's
This is Taylor Cooper. You're listening to Joe Schmo
let
Radio.
me talk. It's a good voice, but what is a radio voice? Because people told Howard Stern.
It's usually like a low, like a voice.
Let me tell
quality
you,
is-
no, but it's mellow and it's consistent. Is that
Howard-
not what it is?
Howard
Right,
Stern
yeah.
Is that not
Yeah.
what it is?
No,
Howard
but Howard
Stern didn't have a fucking radio voice.
Guess
at all.
what? Guess what, bro?
Yeah.
It doesn't
How
matter.
much money did he? It doesn't matter.
You don't need a radio voice if you're fucking hilarious.
No.
That's not
you
what I'm
don't.
saying. But I'm saying
Right.
he
You have
made.
to have the ambition. You have to have the drive to do it, and that's what Howard Stern has.
Yep.
And
He liked titties.
We're back to just to take it back a step, where it's like the small victories, small losses, whatever. So when I decided that I wanted to do podcasting, I set up basically a checklist. What do I need to be successful? Sound, quality content, quality advancement in content, continuous ideas, continuous input to kind of put all that together to make something bigger than what I even envisioned in the beginning.
Now, banking off of that.
And that's where I'm at now.
Banking off of that, as far as guests, who do you typically try to invest time into?
As far as guests?
Yeah.
I don't have an overflow of guests, but mostly they're creative-minded people. I like to interview musicians a lot because I feel like there's very few starving art forms like musicians. Like music is really hard to break into, right? Just like podcasting is. So like, and as a musician, somebody who like struggled through years and years of just nobody fucking paying attention, I like to talk to people and kind of get their word out, their vision out.
If you get their perception of what their music is, even if their music isn't that good, the perception of it is incredible.
Right. Well, and at least they get
better than that.
They get to tell their story. So even if their music kind of sucks,
as a musician, like you always kind of, I understand what you're saying.
You want somebody to talk to. Yeah. As a musician,
Alex plays the recorder.
You want to tell your story as a musician, right? You want to tell where you came from, what influences you, what made you the way that you are. And like,
Shit, sorry,
for example, you just got to keep plugging away with it. But like coming up soon, I'm going to be interviewing this girl from Germany who runs one of the biggest hip hop PR blogs in the world.
No shit.
I'm going to interview her, and
Good for you, man.
You
Good
know,
for
it's
you.
just cool. You
Seriously,
just
that's
thank you.
awesome.
You just got to reach out to people, and
We're learning.
Create
We're learning.
You know, you guys are creating a product that people are going to hear, people are going to like, and it's not going to be for everybody. What I do isn't for everybody.
That's the point. You
You
don't
learn about
want
that.
to be for everybody.
No, because once you find your niche of people,
Can I give a shout out? I think it was Gary Vaynerchuk. I'm giving a shout out.
I love
right
that
now.
guy. Love
He's
that guy.
dude.
Who's that?
Well, get your
For
phone
real?
out, you fucking
Gary
asshole.
V? Gary
V. What, really? Shave your
Guy's a
beard
genius.
and go crawl.
You know who
in a
he is.
hole.
You know who he is.
Hold on.
No, he makes something that stuck with me,
My bad.
and he says something about.
Faggots.
I'll butcher the shit out of this, but a baseball player only hits one out of whatever the fuck he hits.
Right.
Dude looks like a fucking clown, dude. Fuck this guy, man. What a loser.
Okay. I'm gonna tell him you said that.
Yeah.
I ain't listening to this shit. This fucking what a queer.
No, but like, listen, man, you don't need.
He's
Here's
what the fuck is a Belarusian? What is that?
He's from Belarus.
Yeah, he's from Belarus.
A Belarusian.
He didn't know.
That's a terrible word. A
It is
Belarusian.
kind of a
Anyway,
tough word.
let me
Too many
finish. Let me
syllables,
finish my
dude.
thought. I don't know what my thought was, but everyone doesn't have to like you to be successful, man.
Right.
No, and you know
What a fraction of people, dude.
You tend to be more successful by not having everybody like you. You find your fucking group.
Well,
You find that group.
Dude,
of
if people don't like you,
Well,
they
all-
look your shit up and they say,
To be-
"Look
to-
at this asshole." You get views.
right.
to be massively
Any
successful,
publicity is bad, or bad publicity
to
is
be
any.
massively
I don't know.
successful. Like every now and then, there's an exception to the rule where people are massively successful, and it is something that appeals to everyone. But that's an exception to the rule. Like typically, you have to
We
find
go
your
by
group.
majority rules,
You
typically.
have to find your group, and I don't know the exact group we're looking for.
Transgendered.
It's fucking there. It's fucking there. Like I know that. I know what we're looking for is there. Like
I'm only speaking to transgender. I can't.
Well,
I
and
can't.
I
the
don't- we haven't-
craziest
you're a
thing.
third guest, and everybody who's been on so far has been.
Don't
like,
tell people that. Tell this is our 400th guest.
This is our 450
We've been
guest.
on for so we're so famous.
20,000 listeners tonight, baby.
Well, and
Can you
real-
believe 2 million? We hit 2 million tonight. Congrats, everyone.
realistically, podcasting is this thing now that, coming from I went to the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. I'm an alumni from that. And they teach you that, like,
Connecticut?
radio is all
Nobody
forms of
shouts out to
media,
that.
but radio's never going to go away. I mean, FM,
No,
AM radio, it's just never going to go away.
It'll be internet.
But podcasting is the future of
Yes,
of
100%,
radio
100%.
because
Technology is the future.
Technology, the internet is the future of this because everybody has a fucking radio in their pocket now, right? So like you can go to iHeart, you can go to SoundCloud, you can go wherever you find podcasts, whatever, iTunes, whatever. And you can listen to whatever you want. Say you want to fucking crochet a bunch of shit and listen to
Yeah.
people talk about crocheting and shit, you can fucking do that. If
It's
you want
not-
to
it's
smoke
not just
weed
like,
and just sit there and listen to
Hey,
Joe Rogan
like,
for
just-
hours, you can
just
do
the
that.
Philly people, like
Right.
No, you can listen
Oh,
to
yeah.
you can listen to fucking people in
Anything
Australia.
you want. So
You know,
like if
and,
you
like people argue like, oh well, everybody's doing it now. Okay, cool. So everybody's doing it. So there's a bunch of shitty podcasts out there right now.
Oh yeah.
Just fucking do it better.
Yeah, that's it.
Do it better.
You have to find out where you fit. You have to find out what
Like,
you're
dude,
trying to
what you
accomplish.
guys are doing is fucking cool.
Thank
like,
you, man.
I like your shit. I have fun. I've been on the show twice now.
And I'll have to have you both on. I'd love to have you guys
we've
both
already
on.
talked about coming back on
Yeah,
again.
when you guys are ready to drop and when you guys are ready to do all
Who's
this,
fun.
Who's we?
it's on. No, I got enough.
Not you, some other guy.
My
No, but
mom. You and your mom.
I like what you're doing with the network. Like that's something I want to do. Like I was even thinking today, like how little like I love sports. You do the might be sports.
Yeah.
So man, it'd be cool to be on that. And I'm like, dude, I don't watch enough fucking sports nowadays
You don't even
to be on that.
you don't even have to.
Dude,
Just talk.
I feel fucking. I don't know. I guess it's because it's a good thing because I'm doing so much shit nowadays that I don't have time to watch as much sports as I used to. I used to watch all the basketball,
Yeah.
college football on Saturdays. Like I knew fucking everything. All NFL Sundays, Monday night, Thursday night. Dude, I mean, I might catch an NFL game. Like I keep up with the NFL.
Right.
I watch every Eagles game.
Yeah, sure.
And I keep up with the NFL, and like if I have free time, like I'll watch another NFL game. But I mean, like other than that, man, like
There's not enough time in
I
the
don't
day.
watch shit.
Right.
And I was thinking today, I was like, man, like the might be sports thing. I was like, maybe one day when we get to the point where we're doing this as a network, maybe I could have a fucking sports show.
Yeah.
And then I could sit around and watch sports all day and be technically working.
Right.
You know what
Well,
I mean?
so
Hey,
I'm glad
getting-
you
I'm
I'm
getting
glad you
material
brought
together here.
I'm glad you brought Might Be Sports up because shout out Kevin Reevy, that's my co-host on that show.
Not mine.
Real
I've been listening to that a good little bit, man.
talented sports
shit's
writer.
good.
Oh,
That
thank
shit's
you.
real good.
He's great, and like he's got a lot of connections in as far as sports writers and stuff go.
Really?
And like I don't know shit about baseball, for instance, right?
What's your go-to sport?
Football for sure. NFL.
Fucking right.
But like that's what's
America.
cool about you. Like you admit that. Like
Yeah. Oh, and it's like
you
it's
know.
clear on the show too. I mean, like I just it's like
Well,
I just,
he
and
is-
I even
he's
said I watch sports. I don't analyze
He's a
it.
baseball guy.
Right? Yeah, he's a baseball guy. So like we mesh well because it's just like I can talk about football for hours,
I'm
and he can talk
kinda
about
like
baseball
you, like,
for
we're
hours.
like football's my shit.
Yeah.
I mean, every girl I've ever been with, I'm like, look, 16,
I'm getting you pregnant.
16. First off, abortion tomorrow.
There you go.
There goes my pro-life.
Are you pro-choice?
But like
Hi, my name's
before-
Alex. Are you pro-choice?
Before we
But,
started the network, I was kind of like the content guy. Like I was doing all the research and finding all the stories. What do we find interesting this week to
Can
talk
I-
about kind of deal. And now that I'm producing and
No, you
recording 4 different shows,
I'm gonna intervene.
it's like I don't have time for that content anymore.
Well, no, that's what. Like when I was getting, when I
No,
wanted
shut
you
up.
to come
I
on
was trying to
this
intervene
podcast,
him.
that's gonna peak right there, dude.
I don't care.
It was a
No,
passionate peak.
Real quick, before you say it,
Take your
no,
time.
that's that when the no, when I asked you to come on this podcast, I'm like, dude, this guy's doing like fucking 5 podcasts now. I was
It's
like,
crazy.
dude. Let me know when the fuck you're available, because
Yeah.
I wanted to have you on.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean,
and I
like-
really appreciate it.
We kind of, I guess our day now is Saturday at 2
Mm-hmm.
to record. It just kind of became that. But I mean,
No, plus Friday, plus Monday,
well, that's this
plus every day for the fucking week.
But next,
But yeah, every Saturday it's booked.
today and the next 2 Saturdays after this are booked at 2.
Dude, we're having a libertarian running senator.
He hasn't hit me back yet. I'm gonna get
Well,
my
we might have a.
That's awesome, though.
Dale
You
Kearns.
just
Shout out to
keep-
Dale
keep-
Kearns.
keep reaching out
let
to
me do
those
my
people.
intervene because I did a little bit of research just to make a segment of Might Be News. All right, can I do this real quick?
Do it.
Let's just see what the fuck
Go for
happens. I don't have the voice you do.
You do have a pretty good voice.
You
though.
do. Both of you guys do.
Thank you.
Who I do?
No, he doesn't.
No, I have a dog shit
No,
voice. I can sing. I can sing.
Can I be 1,000% honest
He
right now?
smokes cigarettes. Is what
No,
you're
no,
saying.
no. Let me just from a radio standpoint, like technical
I have a
aspect.
Charlie
If you
Day
one up
voice.
him and not me,
No,
I'll kill him.
as far as like the duo here, and like this isn't like a dig at all.
No, I'm better looking. Is that what you're gonna say?
Vocally, host voice, Ian, co-host voice,
Yes,
Alex.
that's what we already
That's-
Wait, am I better looking?
already.
yeah, you are also better looking.
Dude, you're fucking radio. Fuck you.
Yes. Can I do this?
Yes.
What do you do when you do your news? Do you do like a news? I forget because it's been months since I.
Sure. So we open up the show with a good news segment, and
I
then
gotta ask him
Since
I'm gonna ask him how I'm gonna do my segment.
Go ahead,
well,
go
what's your
ahead. I won't
segment?
interrupt.
What's your segment? And I'll help you
all
figure it
right.
out.
Oh shit! Somebody texted me. I fucked it up. It might be news, and then do you go into something?
Yeah,
You
so-
do say that.
So yeah, I do.
Wait, does he really?
Yeah,
Does
no.
he really?
So,
He
so
sets
check
the
it out.
shit up. He kind of gives like an overview of what to say. He's like, it might be news.
So like I start the show off by saying, "Hello everyone. It's the week of September 17th, 2018. My name is Taylor Cooper and this might be news to you."
That is a good
Dude,
intro,
great
dude.
fucking voice. I want to fuck him without even seeing it.
No, but like
Just imagine when you see me though. It's like, "Whoa."
No,
Like,
just
whoa,
fuck you.
never mind.
Fucking hunk.
No, it's just his vocal cords are getting fucked. Split concerns. All right, can I do this? What are you doing? Stop laughing.
Laughing.
Split concerns.
Don't
for-
laugh. This is a serious matter.
Here, I'll try to sound like him. Split. it's deeper than what I got, man.
Yeah.
Split concerns force Durex to recall some condoms in UK and Ireland.
My dick got
Durex-
smaller.
Yep,
My
there we
dick
go.
got way smaller.
Durex, owned by Ricket something the fuck,
I
has
don't
recalled some
I don't
batches
even have
of
a dick
real
no more.
feel and latex-free condoms in the United Kingdom and Ireland due to concerns they may burst.
There's no more dick on my body. Like
Well, just so you
he
know.
made my dick hard.
That might be
Like
news to somebody.
the dick came
Listen,
off my body.
yo, when I saw this one, I actually giggled. I
you,
giggled.
you do have a good voice.
I giggled.
for
Shut up.
this
Shut
shit.
up. Shut up. Paris residents peeved over very public eco-friendly urinals. If you saw the picture of this, it's a trash can you piss into.
It's like right on the side of the
A
street,
A
isn't it?
new set of eco-friendly but completely exposed urinals deployed on the streets of Paris are provoking uproar from locals. It's literally a fucking trash can. Basically what I do in Westchester. I piss into a trash can.
And there's no like shade around it, right? Like it's just straight up in the middle of like the sidewalk, right? That's what it is.
It's
Yeah.
It's like where a trash can
Yeah,
would
it's
fucking
just
be.
that. Yeah, I saw
Flor-
that, and that's crazy, isn't it?
Florida man with no arms charged with stabbing a man with scissors. A 46-year-old homeless man with no arms was arrested in Miami Beach, Florida, who would have guessed, for stabbing another man with a pair of scissors using his feet.
Wow,
That's all I got.
that's determination.
This is where you were talking about artists.
Yeah.
Artists currently. Blood,
Those
sweat,
prints?
blood, sweat, and accessories. Artist recycles bodily fluids for fashion.
Wow.
Struggling to make your fashion more personal? No sweat. Or semen. I mean, there's semen in there, let's be honest. A London fashion student can help you decorate your attire with crystal accessories formed with your bodily excretions. You come
Wow.
on a shirt, bro. That's Burberry.
Wow.
Yo, speaking of shirts, why the fuck are you wearing a construction shirt?
I'm working tomorrow.
Like you look like you're fucking ready to just hop on the road right now and pull out flags.
Astronauts give Pope. We were talking about. I mean, he's gonna fuck a kid.
Let's stop right there before you say anything else. The craziest fucking headline of all time starts with astronauts give Pope. Where the fuck can this be going? I want to hear the rest of this.
Astronauts give Pope. Sorry. Astronauts give Pope personalized spacesuit with white cap. Astronauts from the International Space Station give Pope Francis his own blue jumpsuit on Friday, but distinguished him from the ordinary, like themselves, with a added white cap and a children that came with it.
If he don't go to fucking space, I don't care.
Here we go. Shadowboxing tough guy should protect home alone Japanese woman. This is in Japan. I saw this. I picked it up from the rest. It's literally a light.
Where the fuck is all this shit coming from, man?
I did some research.
Content, baby.
Listen. It's I'm working on it, man.
Content.
It's this is our third episode. I'm working on it. It's a light that projects toward the window that you would see from the outside, and there's a shadow of a guy boxing, and it's supposed to thwart robbers from coming in the house. Nope.
Retarded.
Yeah.
Retarded.
It'll make money.
And let me make a correction to what you said. This is third episode we recorded. This is probably going to be the first episode.
This will be first episode released. A Florida inmate reportedly, like it's not fact, strangled his cellmate, carved out his eyeballs, then walked into the prison's cafeteria wearing one of his ears as a necklace before officers noticed anything was
My
wrong.
man.
Wow.
Listen,
Savage.
that's what I'm saying. He probably didn't flush, which I don't know. I definitely, in PA, we were seeing this one. Hurricane Florence made landfall in North Carolina on Friday, bringing a real dangerous threat. Basically, what I'm saying is, did you see the reporter
Fuck these
struggling?
hoes.
Did you see the reporter struggling to stay
Yes.
standing while two guys walk behind him?
Just like casually strolling
Wait,
right
what?
by. Yeah. That shit was
on, I
didn't see
hilarious.
it. I didn't see
Oh,
it.
dude,
Dude,
you got to find that video. It's
This
funny.
old guy is
You
like
showed it
acting
to me?
like he's fighting to stand up in like 20-something mile-an-hour
He's definitely
winds.
getting blown around. Like you can see the wind against him, but
Yeah.
dude, like right in the background,
Yeah,
there's these
it-
two
it-
dudes
it
just
was
like
smoke, man.
casually strolling
Dude,
by.
if you throw a feather, it might go somewhere. But these kids in the background wearing shorts,
Yeah,
mind you,
yeah, they were,
are
yeah.
walking around like nothing's happening.
Yeah, it was funny.
Yo, did you ever
I
see
meant to
that,
say this might be news.
did you ever see that video where the news reporter's out there, it's like snowing and the joggers come past? They're like, yeah, it's the best time to jog, blah, blah, blah. And they keep
Yeah,
on
and they fell.
both of them
yeah,
fucking fall.
yeah, wiped
It's
out
the greatest
hard.
thing I ever seen in
Yeah,
my
it was
life.
so funny.
Or the dude where it's a black news reporter, and it's like backed up traffic. He's like, "What's the news? The traffic backed up. Why? It's always backed the fuck up. I'm asking you, what the fuck are we doing out here?" Dude, it's hilarious. He's like, "I don't know. You don't know? Traffic's backed up. It's always backed up. What the fuck are we doing out here? I'm asking you, why the fuck are we out here?"
And that's all I got for news. It might be news, but it might be not. I looked up. You know what's funny?
I like that title.
It might be news or it
but
might be not.
Yeah.
I looked up so much Kardashian shit, it'll make you shit your pants. Just because it's so like not news, but I was like, I want to know what her ass is doing these days. I gotta piss again.
I don't really fucking care.
Have you not pissed since you've been here?
I have not. I do need to.
we should probably wrap up. It's about
Oh,
there.
yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
Let's wrap it up, Bob.
Yo, quick plug.
Feel
Just
free.
Yeah,
check
yeah,
it.
no.
Go
We were
plug your
getting there.
shit, man.
Yeah, check
Plug
us
shit.
out. mbnnetwork.com. You can go there, check out all the
Yeah,
different
yeah.
descriptions for the shows. You can stream all the episodes right from the website.
Ow, ow.
Check us out on SoundCloud, iTunes Podcasts, all that
What?
stuff. Monday through Thursday right now. I'm working on a 5th show. Every day is an
it called?
adventure. I don't know yet. I'm working on that. I can't
You
reveal
can't
that yet.
reveal yet?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Copyrights. Copyrights.
Still in
Well,
development.
yeah,
I'll tell you
yeah.
what. When you have it there, let me know. And shit, I'll plug it.
I'm thinking about doing
I'll
like
plug
an
it on this
interview
shit, man.
show, just like something where I interview people because I'm doing interviews now, but like I don't want to rush interviews. I like
Yeah.
long interviews. You know what I mean?
When you get it figured out, man, let me know and we'll plug it on shit.
How,
Yeah,
how
yeah.
typically
Yeah,
long
shit.
are your interviews? Because you know.
Right now, my interviews are anywhere from like 20, 25, 30 minutes.
Oh, is that right?
So like I would
So you
rather
try to get
do
a lot
whole
of content
episode.
in
Yeah,
there. You
yeah.
cram it in there.
Because like right now, it's like the NBN network is a content just plethora
Dude,
of
it's
content.
fucking
There's
growing.
so
It's like
much
a
shit.
fucking living parasite.
So much shit.
Fucking
so much.
make sure to check out our Facebook page, Joe Shmoe. I'm gonna start a Twitter fucking page today.
Wait, can you start that over?
Make sure to like our Facebook page, Joe Schmo Radio. I'm gonna start a Twitter page today, Joe Schmo Radio. Hopefully,
We're gonna talk shit all day.
and then hopefully when this website gets up, it's joeschmoradio.com. So stay up, motherfuckers.
We're gonna cut that out. All right. Thank you everyone for listening.
Thanks for
and,
having me on, guys.
Yeah,
Appreciate
yeah, of
it.
course. You did that for viewers, right?
Oh
Is
yeah.
that what you're thinking?
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, we're done.